It is A2H live, excuse me. A2HH live on a Wednesday. What's poppin', Coop? How you doing, brother?
What's going on? How are you?
I'm great, man. We want
Yeah.
to let people in the room. You know what? I didn't tell you offline. I think that we got so much going on today. Let's just do the first five of the people that we're rating. And I don't know if we got them in the same order. Did you already rate everybody?
Yeah, I rated everybody. You got ooh. I mean,
I mean, I could. All right, so I'm gonna have the first five I got on my screen, and then you know what I'm saying. Like Friday, we'll just have the whole thing,
okay.
and so I'll just let you know who's coming. I think I got Common, Prodigy, Tupac, Ice Cube, Lil Kim. Those are my five.
Oh, you took some of the fun out by doing that stuff.
What's that?
You took some of the fun out by doing that stuff.
What up to everybody coming in the room? We got a lot to talk about today, man. We're gonna talk about that new Nas music video for Wave God featuring ASAP Rocky. We definitely gonna get into that Jay Prince, the hip hop versus the Grammys. Excuse me. We're really gonna talk about this Mace the Oracle too, because we didn't talk about that Friday. I know we kind of double backing on that because that's not like breaking news anymore, but we want to break this thing down all the way. Kind of gave it some time to digest a little bit. We're gonna celebrate, Doom and Madlib in their classic album. What is it, Madlib? I always say it wrong.
Yeah, I will
Yeah,
say it wrong.
The
And,
Masked Man, incredible cover, 18th anniversary. We're gonna be celebrating that today. We also gonna be talking about the new music that comes up Friday. We're gonna talk about the rating system that we got going on. It's just a lot on today's show. But do you want to start with Pusha T going at McDonald's on behalf of Arby's?
um, yeah, we can.
Okay. Well, Pusha T put out a diss record on Arby's. It was the fish set. I'm sorry, not a diss record on Arby's. On behalf of Arby's, put out a diss record on the fish fillet sandwich from McDonald's. Now, for people who don't know, the "I'm Loving It" slogan comes from Pusha T and Malice. They wrote that song. I hear that Pusha T was vastly underpaid. He's been very vocal about that. And, before you even saw anything coming, Pusha T shows us his diversity, versatility, lyricism, and throws a diss record that's actually jamming, in my opinion, going to McDonald's. What was your reaction to that, Coop?
No, I mean, I immediately just thought about his versatility.
Yeah, man. I started thinking, man, maybe we rated him a little too low. I know a lot of people like to think that we overrate Pusha T to some extent, but
I mean, how many guys do you know that are out here like who are making like? I mean, because I would assume he was a teenager when he made or close
early
to it.
20s, early 20s.
20s when he did the McDonald's thing, and now to be in his 40s, like doing the Arby's things.
Well, I remember when the "I'm Loving It" thing happened. It was a Neptune record, well, Neptune produced song for Justin Timberlake. It looked more like a promo, and it just had that hook in there, and you just never really think about who might have written that. But when it's a Neptune track, it's probably in-house writing, so it definitely didn't come from like your regular jingle writers. And then it comes out years later that Pusha T and Malice wrote it. I think it was not Kevin Lyles, but what's his name? Nas's ex-manager,
Steve Stout.
Steve Stout, who broke that. So yeah, I mean, but to show how things come full circle, and to see Pusha T coming at McDonald's like that, and we thought we were gonna get a Pusha T album this Friday. We're gonna talk about that in a second too. His album seems to be coming out April 8th. Where do you like where what you're hearing from Pusha T right now? Like, does that still make you feel like Pusha T has what he says album of the year coming in the upcoming weeks?
I mean, he still has the capability of having album of the year. I don't want to compare it to Daytona because Daytona kind of came up on us fast too. It's like we really
Yeah.
didn't really hear anything. I think the only thing I heard before the album dropped was like "Come Back, Baby," like a little
Really?
like
I
a
didn't hear
little.
anything.
I think I maybe heard like that first verse very briefly, like maybe a day or two before the album dropped. So he's given this more fanfare and more lead up. So I just hope for his sake as a fan of his that it kind of like lives up to that expectation.
Shout out to Blue Collar Hustler over here with the super chat. He says, "Would love for you guys to rate Childish Gambino. Very interested in both of your in both of your thoughts. I think he's a better writer than Cole and equal to Kendrick." Well, I'm glad you mentioned the writing process because one of the things that we wanted to change on this chart, we had a section that was competition of error, which kind of got very subjective to a certain degree. And so we're changing that category out for songwriting skills. Tupac really, for me, threw off the scales a lot. I rated Tupac extremely high. And we're going to get to that in a minute. But Godfather says, "Yo, Mike, what do you mean about Nas 2 billion on Spotify?" I don't know what you mean by that, but we're going to get to this Nas video in a second. Pusha T, man, I think that this new album, and I think it's called, well, tentatively, they're saying that the title is going to be It Ain't Dry Yet, or It's Not Dry Yet. I think it's not dry yet. This is tentatively dropping April 8th. I haven't seen like an official announcement for Pusha T on any of his social medias or anything like that, but they're saying that that is what the album title is, and it's dropping April 8th. I don't think this is a make or break moment. He's too deep in his career for that. But I do think this is a Magic King's Disease 2 type of moment, respectfully, for where Pusha T's legacy is. He knocked this one out the park. This is going to take him over to another level that I think at this point, I don't want to say B+, but you know what I mean? Like, I don't think he's in the Nas, J stratosphere. These guys, if he is, he's on the lower end of that or like on the higher end of the level below that, if that makes any sense. And so I think this album is taking it up to that next level for me.
I understand what you're saying. I don't reasonably think that he's going to make it to that highest tier. And I'm going to tell you why. It's because of aura and perception, because part of being in that stratosphere is part of the aura that comes with the MC, and that aura usually happens very early on, you know?
That's fair.
And so...
the Big Daddy Kanes, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
So he's going to have probably everything but that when it's all said and done, you know? But that matters, and so he's probably going to be one of those guys that's right outside, because only a few guys that I think that are outside of that stratosphere right now that can really get in is Method Man and Jadakiss, and that's with a classic album, and that's because the expectation was for them to be there anyway, and they're kind of like right there, and the only thing missing is that from both of those two MCs specifically. And so that would be the thing. He's already made classic stuff. I mean, we just talked about and said how he's the only guy we can really think of, and in rare company with like Ice Cube, Scarface, classic group and solo, right?
Yeah. It was brought to my attention. I was speaking with my man Alex offline, and
outside of Wu-Tang, of course.
And we were talking about, well, I brought up Lil Brother with Fontaine, but I think that, you know, because Fontaine's had a very successful solo career. And there was another person in the duo that he brought up. Oh, it was Mos Def. That's what it was. But I think that with Black Star's limited catalog, we don't really view him as someone who he technically did break out of a duo and go solo and have a successful career. But the Clips have multiple efforts, whereas Black Star just has that one debut effort from, 24 years ago now?
Well, also, too, and I've told you this, I consider that rap album to be very dope, but not classic. It's got more of a nostalgic classic rap vibe feel now, but I still wouldn't deem that album a classic. just like, you want to know what, that in Uptown Saturday Night by Camp Lo, that's my description of like almost classic. You know
I
what I'm
really
saying?
feel like, and I'm just gonna say this, and even based on the title alone, I've always felt like that Black Star album was one of those, just how people do joint albums now. Like if Quavo and Travis are making an album, Honcho Jack or something, and even the way they titled it, it was Mos Def and Talib Kweli presents Black Star. So I've always looked at it as one of those collaboration albums as opposed to we're the Clips. That's it. That's what you're getting. Like, we always knew these guys were individuals from day one. So I guess that's why I don't count Mos Def as somebody who broke out of a duo to have a successful solo career. Now, I want to get back to something you said. You got Jadakiss ahead of Pusha T?
I have them actually, like, if I was actually like weighing it out, I'd probably have them right next to each other. Like, literally, I'd probably have them right next to each other if I was like ranking MCs. And I would probably, and that's what I mean about where he's at. He's in a very high place, because I would put him right there next to Jadakiss. I mean, because if you want the bars, I give Jadakiss a slight edge. But who's the better songmaker? Who's made the better albums with their group?
And it's all about what you put more weight on. And the stuff that I traditionally put more weight on, Pusha T excels in it over Jadakiss.
Right, and that's what I'm saying. When you match them up, it's like, well, Kiss got the bars. If you just want to put like 16 bars, Kiss got almost everybody faded on that. But it's like, but after that, you'll find the things that round out the rest of these MC categories. Push might, get more favorable or comparable responses to Kiss too, but I find them to be comparable as MCs. Like, I don't think Kiss is like out of the stratosphere. I mean, they've done work together. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, they're two different type of MCs. Not that they couldn't be compared in that way, but I like Pusha's wordplay more than I like Jadakiss's wordplay. And
you
Jada's more of a punchline guy.
You mean wordplay or word choice, or is that the same thing to you?
It's similar things to me, but I see what you're saying. I would say more so word choice, and his word placement. If that clarifies it anymore. Yes. And Jada's more of a punchline guy, and I don't know if you know this about me. I'm not that big on punchline MCs.
Okay, so he's probably the best punchline MC ever, right?
Possibly.
No, I mean, can you think of an MC that even has like level of like, because that he's very like his 16 bars are very much like Joe Frazier's hook, Mike Tyson's uppercut, like throws haymakers. Like,
Straight Duval says, please stop rating every rapper 14 and 15 on lyrics. Yeah, okay, well, I guess we're going to have to change that up a little bit. But go ahead.
Okay, if you say so. I mean, I don't have everybody 14 or 15 on my list.
I mean, we've rated nothing but the top-notch guys so far. But,
yeah, we've rated a lot of top-notch people. But that's neither here nor there.
Just let us know who you don't think should be 14 or 15, and we'll discuss that part of it. Right. Yeah.
We're actually going to discuss somebody that we put at 14 that I think should be 15 in a little bit. That's neither here nor there. But Kiss is like a heavyweight artist like that. Like, he can just come in the ring and get in for a round and knock out anybody.
It's true. I mean, I think that Versus even, put his profile somewhere out of here, too.
I mean,
he did what he normally does. He didn't do anything, like, extraordinary for what he does. He did what he always does. I mean, that was just a locked set. Like, that's what they do. And everybody's acting like he went out there and put up 50 in the Garden. He did what he does.
He was probably a little bit more amped up, so you got probably 50 instead of 40. But like that's what he do. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like you see like when LeBron and KD just got 38 and 37. People are like, oh, these are amazing games. It's like like that's I'm not surprised. Like
yeah. TD says Charlamagne said he heard Push's new album and said it's his best work. Well, listen. Charlamagne also said that that makes the Oracle 2 wasn't tight, and so I can't really listen to Charlamagne's opinion on hip hop right now, respectfully. Does the Breakfast Club even cover hip hop? I'm surprised they even spoke on a hip hop record. That's interesting. But anyway, get those likes up, y'all, man. We got a lot to cover today. I'm looking for what? What's up?
No. We forgot to do a little housekeeping right quick too. I got to give a shout out. So I was having lunch yesterday, and somebody who follows the show, Brandon, rolled up on me, and he was like, "Cool." And I just looked around. I was like, "What the hell?" He's like, "According to hip hop," and I was like, "Yeah, what's up?" And we sat down and had a nice conversation. I wanted to give you his top 5 MCs and some of his thoughts. And I want to say shout out to Brandon. Yeah.
Yeah, shout out to Brandon. You know, we all see us in the streets, man. We ain't going to act brand new.
We're
going to get your top 5. So anybody see us out there, we're going to get your top 5. What's Brandon's top 5?
Okay, top 5 in order. He's got Nas at 1.
Okay.
Black Thought at 2. Lupe at 3. Doom at 4. Common at 5. He agrees with my thought when I said that if Eminem was black, he would be Pharoah Monch. He actually added something to that thought and said, if you actually listen to Eminem's inflection of voice and his wordplay, it seems Pharoah Monch inspired.
Well, you know, they all were around that Rockers camp. And sound bombing, they were all a part of that. Shout out to Gio. He says, ain't Wayne and Drake punchline experts? Listen, I like Wayne. I think Wayne excels in a different area than Jada. He does a lot of things Jada can't do, but I don't think he's more punchline heavy than Jada, in my opinion. Is the Real G's moving silence like lasagna? Is that a punchline?
It's funny that he brought up Wayne, and I brought up the comment about like how. So this is what I mean about how Kiss is a heavyweight artist. Okay, like he's gonna land. Like Kiss is gonna come in, step into the ring. You're going to know that blows are coming. And it's all about if, like, you can stop it from happening, which most of the times you can't. Like with Wayne, it kind of comes out of nowhere, and it's more abstract. It's not all straight in your face. That's why I was like, it's like a Joe Frazier hook or a Mike Tyson uppercut. That's like right up at you. Like Wayne kind of comes out of nowhere with his sometimes. And that's why I was saying why I like the Real G's moving silence like lasagna. Like on a fundamental basis, I get what you're saying. It's like, oh, he only halfway executed. But kind of what he specializes in with those punchlines is the abstract, you know?
I agree with you, and I'll go ahead and clarify for the audience, and then we'll get back to Brandon's top 5. I never was a big fan of the Real G's moving silence like lasagna line because nerdy old me, I was like, yo, lasagna doesn't move. So this line doesn't work to me. You know what I mean? I get what he's saying. Obviously, G and lasagna is silent. But you said move like lasagna. And it's not moving. So that line doesn't work for me. Like, I don't know. You got to be able to tie all those things in together. And maybe I'm being too tough on that. But, again, I agree with what Coop said. The fact that Wayne's flashy with his style and is able to do it in a way where people remember it and think it's dope. It's cool to think it's dope, but when it came out, people thought it was genius. And I was like, no.
It's not that. It's not genius, but it is dope.
Now, speaking of genius, I really do like Brandon's top 5. Yeah. He's very lyricist heavy.
That's what we talked about.
Did you ask him where he's from?
So I was about to say, I actually made sure I took a picture because me and Brandon traded info. Let me pull it up. Brandon Jackson. He's from Montgomery, Alabama. He's 35.
People are saying lasagna moves in your digestive system. Okay, guys. Go ahead.
I mean, put some spinach, ricotta cheese. Yeah, all of those things. Possible items. Probably muscle move. Yeah,
it moves in your bowels. Okay. Maybe he should have followed up the line with that. I would have been like, that's genius. But yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
A little digestive tract metaphor would have done him well after that. Yeah.
Right.
So
causing your bowels to move. Like, yeah, okay, I got you.
So we talked about also Lupe for a minute too, and when we talked about Lupe, you know, he made a very strong point that, you know, like when you look at the things that you want a great lyricist to do, Lupe does all those things at the level that the other guys do, and nobody talks about it really.
Exactly.
The way they talk about
I agree
the
with
other
that.
guys. the way, and so I think a lot of that does have to do with, here we go again with media coverage of it. Because here's the thing, it's like Nas has always kind of been like our golden child. Black Thought's always kind of been the underrated people's champ. It's like they give all these great lyricists like these things. Rakim is the god. Jizz is the genius. You know what I'm saying?
I
it's
think
like
these guys came along during an era where lyrics were important in the mainstream coverage. I think that Lupe's issue is the fact that he came around during a time where the game had been totally dumbed down on a mainstream level. And he was a supreme lyricist. He came, his debut was 06? These are the eras that we call kind of the dark ages in mainstream hip-hop, right?
Yeah, I mean, he came out spitting. You remember him on Touch the Sky?
Yeah.
Cool as the unthawed, but I still feel possessed like a gun charge.
Yeah, man. Lupe still like Lupe in the third.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, man. I remember the first time I heard Lupe Fiasco on like one of those sample CDs. It was an Arista CD. They had like these compilation CDs they used to do back in the day when I was in radio. And he was signed to Arista, and he was rhyming over the Jay-Z beat. Him, what is it? Him, you, her, me, whatever. You know what song I'm talking about. And he killed it. I was like, yo, this dude is the truth. This had to be like 02, 03-ish. And yeah, I mean, he's continued to elevate his lyricism. I mean, at crazy proportions. I've talked about this on the show before when him and Royce were going at it. When he went out there and memorized Royce's whole diss record, or damn near a part of it, in hours and spit it back and then responded in hours on the same track, I'm like, oh man, this shit is next level. And see, I'm thinking about that comment that was just made to us about giving people 14s and 15s. We might need to get a little bit more strict on some of these ratings, because shit like that is easy 15. And so, like, there has to be certain things that are unattainable, if that makes any sense. Like, what DMX and Busta Rhymes do on the stage, or what Big Daddy Kane does on stage, that's 10 stuff. KRS One, and if you ain't that, you ain't a 10.
Okay, so
and we got to do the same thing for lyrics too, especially since we spread it out and it's up to 15 ratings now.
So let's take a step back. Is Most Def and Redman still a 15 to you? With that being said,
Redman might not be, and I know I hate to say it like that. I love Redman.
You got Most is more of a lyricist than Red.
I do. I've heard Most rhyme about the city breathing. I've heard Most do a verse about time.
Right. No, I said say less. I said say less.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah.
Still have Andre at 15?
I think that's the strongest part of Andre's game. Everything that we put Andre at this level for, it's because of the lyrics.
No, it's because of the lyrics. It's not.
You don't think so? What do you think it's because of?
No, I mean, it's his whole persona and his whole aura. He has an
aura. But that only works because of the lyrics. It does. Hold on, let me get to the super chat real quick.
Usually it fits and matches. It usually matches, Mike.
We're going to get back to Andre real quick. Nas the GOAT, shout out to you with the super chat. He said, I've been advocating for Lupe for years. For a few times on this show, excuse me. And on y'all show, Lupe is my third on my list. It's very underrated.
Third on Brandon's list too, after Thought and Nas. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So he's been. You have been advocating for Lupe on this show. Every time we talk about something, I see Nas the GOAT bringing up Lupe, as you should. Lupe is a supreme lyricist. So, Andre being a 15 lyrically, what I will say is, yes, I'll keep him as a 15 lyrically.
Okay. KRS Kendrick.
I think KRS is 14. I know it's blasphemous, but if we're talking about just straight lyrics and this is the bar, I would take KRS to 14. And you said Kendrick.
I'm taking Kendrick down too then.
What do you guys think? Is Kendrick on Lupe's level lyrically? All right, so these are the people that we got. We got Andre, Mos Def, and Lupe. Is Kendrick on the same level as those three guys lyrically or not? Because they're gonna say we hating on Kendrick. So I want to hear what the people got to say.
No, let's finish. Cool G Rap, Rakim, Nas.
Nas, yes. Rakim, yes. Cool G Rap might be 14 if that's what.
No.
Okay.
Cool G as a lyricist?
No. That's probably like the strongest part of his game.
Like I'm about to say, lyrically, he might be stronger than all of these guys bar for bar.
Okay.
Lyrically.
Okay.
Because it's only through Rakim's and Nas's depth and expression that they're better than G-Rap. Because lyrically, they are not supreme with him on the mic.
I'm seeing 14. I'm seeing 13. They're talking about K-Dot right now. People are saying Kendrick's voice is terrible. We're not talking about his voice. Let's X that out.
We already gave him a low rating for his voice. This is his lowest rating.
Nas the GOAT said Kendrick is about 12 lyrically.
Disrespectful.
Wow. Okay.
We can go 14. 13?
No, I'm not going to do that to him.
Yeah, we can't do that.
No, I'm not going to do that to him. People saying 13.5. Yeah, I think 14 is good with that one then. So if that's the case, what do y'all think about Cole? Lyrically. I guess that's going to be about the same, right?
Well, we gave Cole a 14 already.
We did.
Yeah. Okay. I was just checking.
Okay. Yeah, all right. So, I love his list, though. His list is, these guys are 15 lyrically, lyricists, or however I want to say it.
Because I asked him about Doom, because I asked him, I was like, because he had Doom at 4, I was like, do you think Doom, I was like, you think Doom's a better lyricist than Method Man? And he's like, I do. He was like, but Meth is a lyricist.
Yeah. Kendrick Outlaw, I'm sorry, not Kendrick. Got me saying Kendrick because of Kendrick Lamar conversations. Shout out to Kendall Outlaw with the super chat. He says, does the Love Below count as an Andre 3000 solo project? Okay. I got two answers to this
in the adult contemporary R&B genre, it sure does. It's a great R&B album.
Well, this is what I'll say. I don't think it's fair to call it an Outkast album, and that's how it was packaged. There's two things to this, right? I remember when this came out, right? I remember when Speakerboxxx Love Below came out. It was pretty clear when they were doing media. I think Andre was on Greg Street show here in Atlanta. And so he was explaining to Greg Street why it was packaged as a double album. And basically, L.A. Reid told them that, the Outkast brand is bigger than both of them as individuals. So it was just beneficial to sell it as an Outkast album. And I kind of got the notion throughout that conversation that Andre really wanted it to be put out as an Andre album, separately and not together. But I get it from a marketing standpoint. They've never marketed these guys as individual acts. So that would have been probably double the budget, double the work or whatever when you can all package one thing as one. Saying all that to say, I don't think it's fair to call Hey Y'all Outkast song. It's an Andre song. So I do think that Love Below should count as a solo project. But on the flip side, I don't think the Love Below should be considered when we talk about solo rap work. And we're talking about, other rap albums and albums where solo rap artists put together songs with 3 verses, 2 verses, and had to lyrically, on a rap album, hold down albums themselves. What he did was very out the box, very impressive as an overall artist. But as an MC, I don't think we can give Love Below that kind of consideration because it's not a rap album.
So,
you feel me?
How many verses he got on the Love Below? 3?
He has 3 verses on the Love Below.
Okay, so I was just grabbing a sheet of paper. I was tallying. I was thinking Happy Valentine's Day, Spread, and A Day in the Life of Andre Benjamin, correct?
Yep, easy, yep.
Other than that, there's no other rapping going on there, right? So what are we talking about? Here's what we need.
Well, I mean, you got Big Boy coming in on Roses, Got a hotie's body, but an attitude is potty.
We know Big Boy raps for a living, Mike. We know that. It's been identifiable. But let's go to songwriting skills right quick, since we've been doing some house cleaning right quick, and we've already rated Andre. We're changing some things. How are we rating his songwriting skills?
That's interesting because I have been quoted to say I think he's one of the best songwriters ever in hip hop.
Of what? Name the songs that he's written. Because the other guys,
She Lives in My Lap, but these aren't rap songs.
Right. The other guys that we're about to rank as great songwriters, well, they've got songs.
Well, see, that's the thing. Yeah, you're right. He doesn't. That's what makes this difficult because he doesn't have any rap songs.
It's not that difficult. It's not that difficult. You see, there are people who made stuff like, who are we rating today? Common. Common has The Light. Common has I Used to Love Her.
Yeah.
Prodigy. Prodigy has Quiet Storms. Prodigy has Shook Ones Part 2. You see where I'm going with this?
I see where you're going with this. And
Jordan House. Let's not get started on Tupac. That's totally fair.
People think we're disrespecting Ghostface. Ghostface is one of my favorite, if not my favorite MC ever. We're going to get to Ghostface. Y'all hold your horses. We're going to get to all these people. There's a lot of MCs to get to.
Hold on. We haven't even got the Wu-Tang really. Meth is the only Wu-Tang member we've even covered yet.
Yeah, we're going to get there. Jordan House says he thinks that he's a great songwriter. And you know what? I think Andre's a great songwriter as well.
Do you all think that?
No, but I see what you're saying. This is the thing. We got to clarify. This chart we're talking about is for rap shit.
I want some evidence.
No, you're right.
He's a great songwriter.
He's a great songwriter.
No.
Hey, y'all is all you need to know. You know what I mean? But that's different.
He is potentially a great songwriter. If you're talking about potential, yes.
But even with that being said, though, Coop, I think CeeLo's a better songwriter.
Where's the proof?
Because CeeLo actually wrote,
rap songs though, so you can actually maybe say that viably. Like you can say that viably because he's written rap songs.
But clarify, you're talking about songwriting ability as it pertains to rap songs.
Songwriting skills.
Because I can hear, listening to The Love Below, which is brilliant. You can hear his ability to write songs, and it's high level. But see, this is the only thing, and I say this as an Andre 3000 fan. When you put together an album like that, you're able to kind of pull influences from all over the place. Like She Lives in My Lap is clearly influenced by She's Always in My Hair / If I Was Your Girlfriend. You know what I mean? But see, when it shows the greatness that you have, you continue to do it. On one album, you could pull all kind of influence from everywhere and kind of make things your own. But on the second album, third album, you can't keep doing that. And Andre never really gave us the proof that he could keep even, making songs on that level that weren't even rap songs. It wasn't even like he was writing songs for other artists. We had, Khalees, I'm a Millionaire. Not I'm a Millionaire, but Millionaire, which I think is a dope record.
I love that record.
I think that what he did with Gwen Stefani, I think that same year, with Bubble Pop Electric and all that stuff, I thought it was dope. But it's not like he kept doing it. So it's hard to really give him great songwriting titles like that if we don't have that continued consistency.
This is according to hip hop.
You're right.
So what are we rating him for songwriting? Because I'm giving him a 5, and that's for the Outkast stuff. Because we don't really have rap songs from him that display more than that. You want to give him a 6?
We're not going to get to that yet. Let's stay on the topics that we got right now. Nas the GOAT with the super chat says, quick question. You guys think that that Mace is a great... Is it Mas? Because you said M-A-S. You mean Mace? Mace is the greatest songwriter of all time?
Who?
Right.
Must be
Nas. It must be Nas. Do I think Nas is the greatest songwriter of all time? I don't know. I can't definitively say yes to that. I think he's a great lyricist.
I think it's between him and Tupac and Scarface, probably.
I think that Tupac...
But I would put Pac in the lead. I would listen on Pac, probably. Tupac's
a great songwriter.
Yeah.
Incredible songwriter. Okay. All right, so where were we at, man? We were talking about Brandon's top 5. So he had Nas, Black Thought, Lupe, Doom, and Common.
Yeah. He said the last one was controversial. And I was like, yeah, I've never
Common
had
controversial?
I mean, I was a little struck by it. I've never had Common that high. The highest I've ever had Common has probably been like 8 or 9, 10-ish. And that was around that B Finding Forever run where I was like, ooh, I was like, second win, all-time great second win.
I think the thing is, man, like with Common, I think that the work is there. The longevity's there. His resume is stacked. But it's just something that separates him from, like you say, like the Rakims, the Nas's, the Tupacs, the Bigs. It's like, do we feel he's in that same stratosphere? And if we don't, why?
So let's go back to what happened. What I said about Pusha T. It kind of comes with that aura where if it doesn't, you don't get that aura and that gravitas early. That it's like there's kind of like it's like some sort of ceiling in place on how high you can go because the aura is not there, you know. And then you can go to those artists and say, well, is his best project better than their best project? And it's like, well, no. And then it's like, well, is he a better lyricist? Well, then it's like, well, no. You get what I'm saying? And then you start nitpicking, and that's how somebody like him starts sliding because it's like when he said 5, and this is why I asked Brandon how old he was too, and this is what I mean. So Brandon's 35.
Right.
And I'm 40. And here's where our gap shows. Because I'm going to tell you exactly where our gap shows. Our gap shows really in his 3, 4, 5. Because there's no Rakim, there's no KRS, there's no Cool G Rap. He's got Lupe Doom in Common. And so he think about it, he's 35, so he didn't catch Common's first run like I did or even like you did. He probably knows more like Water for Chocolate on Common. And it's like, shoot, if that's the guy that you know and you were introduced to like Water for Chocolate and B and Finding Forever very early on, I could see why you would have him on his top 5 because you got 3 of his 5 best albums like right there early on at a pivotal point in a listening stage in your life, in your formative years, you know?
It's like this, man, and I think Common is a great songwriter. I would give Common really high marks on songwriting. But I think one of the things that kind of separated for me, because I think Common did his thing on B. He was all in tune and, you know what I'm saying, clicking on all cylinders. But I remember when, I think it was like Black America Again was about to come out. And it was a song called Welcome to Black America that never made it on the album, but it was dope. And he featured Ab-Soul on it.
Yeah, I know.
Ab-Soul wrapped circles around Common. And it was like, not to say that doesn't make you an elite MC, but it took me back to One Day It'll All Make Sense when Cannabis did the same thing.
On making a name for ourselves.
Yeah, and it's like, okay, I think that he's in a section where he's a great songwriter, but do we expect Common to get on the record with other great MCs and have the best verse?
Okay, so You and I Verse at War off Philadelphia Half-Life.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people feel like he got the upper hand in Black Thought on that.
Okay.
That was really the only time I think they've gotten together where people felt like he got the upper hand, but that's a nice feather in the cap to have because that's Thought's coming out party has an upper echelon MC.
I like him on Respiration too.
Yeah, you could say that. I was actually thinking Get 'Em High.
Yeah, I think Get 'Em High was one of those scenario moments though. I think Kanye was setting him up in the same way that Q-Tip was setting up Busta. You know what I'm saying? To come clean up, you know, and it was done very well. And not only did it do that, it set him up for what was coming next.
You still have to seize the moment, though. You know?
You still got to seize the moment. You still got to catch the ball, set your feet, and make the shot.
So, how do you feel about him on Ghetto Dreams with Nas?
I like Ghetto Dreams. I liked it when it dropped. I liked it when it dropped, but it's funny. I haven't listened to that song in so long. I don't even know. It didn't even stick for me.
It didn't stick to the ribs, right? Which is crazy for both of them to make a joint together and then not really stick to the ribs.
Yeah.
Right. Because that's both what they do extremely well.
It's just something different, man, where it's like, I was listening to Pac one day and I was like, it's hard for me to put Common ahead of Pac.
Right, that's what I mean. It's like when
And
you
it
hear
shouldn't be that hard if Common is,
you want to know what it is. He has a lot of tools in his bag.
yeah.
I think what it really is that his best stuff isn't as great as the other greats' best stuff. Does that make sense?
I think that is exactly what it is.
You know, like if B is his best album. It's like put that in context to Illmatic or Ready to Die or Reasonable Doubt. You get what I'm saying?
No, you're right. And that's the difference. And it's like his career has been incredible. But
the league are paid in full, you know?
It's different,
right?
Man. It's a different level out there.
Yeah.
And I think that's the type of stuff that I'm thinking about when we rate somebody a 15 lyrically. There's a difference out there. Shout out to Kenneth Palmer. Kenneth Palmer said, fellas, your quick hot take on Nas is Taken in Blood 2 and Desperados 2. Just curious if y'all checked it out. Of course, I checked it out, man. Listen, man, that Taken in Blood 2, the original version that you sent us, shout out to you for sending us that. I had never heard that. But that Nas that raps in that way, and for the people who haven't heard that, go to YouTube, Taken in Blood, the OG version, I think it is, and the Desperados 2. I think I heard the Desperados 2 before.
You heard the Desperados.
Yeah, I heard that one before, but that Taken in Blood, the original version, man, that shit is crazy, man. I wish that was the one that was on the album. Nas has so many moments like that in the 90s, and he's showing us right now that, yeah, my material was suppressed or something, because the rate he's working at right now is not even abnormal if you go back and look in the archives in the 90s. He just had to depend on record labels to put stuff out.
Lost tapes, B-sides, guest appearances. He's got a Hall of Fame catalog off that. Like
he has lost tapes for a reason. You know what I'm saying? Because they weren't putting this shit out. Shout out to R. Stewart with the super chat. He says, Nas is the greatest writer of all time. He is the Langston Hughes, Edgar Allan Poe, and Maya Angelou bracket. Yeah, you know.
I like the Langston Hughes analysis, yeah.
Definitely. Well, I mean, I guess that's a good way to go. Did you see that Wave Guy video?
I did. I don't even watch. First of all, I was thinking about how little I truly watch rap videos anymore, but my sentiment was similar to yours. It made me enjoy this record more, and I'm going to be easy when I'm saying this because it's a classic album that I'm talking about now that we're saying this. This was one of my 3 least favorite songs on this 9-track album, and it made me like the song even more when I got the visual aid to it. And so kudos to them. I thought it was an excellent job.
I agree with that. And shout out to Hit Boy. We retweeted the video, and he retweeted that. We love the work that you guys are putting together. We're looking forward to hearing and seeing King's Disease 3. But what I will say, man, after seeing this video, I feel like I want to see more videos from this project. Because I feel like we're the only people talking about Magic in the way that it should have been talked about. I don't think Magic was talked about enough. I mean, for Nas being who he is, and at this point in his career, and making something this dope, and then just seeing it come to life again visually, I'm like, man, he might need to just throw some more visuals at us because Magic was dope. I would like to see like a whole little mini movie like what they did with Nasir for Magic. I think it could be done. It's such a strong project, man, and it ages very well already. I know it sounds crazy to say that a couple of months later, but hip-hop music moves fast, and if you might be listening to something one month, and the next month you're like, I don't pick this up. I listen to Magic all the time, and it still sounds as good when I listen to it now as it did the first day that I listened to it. It was at Christmas Eve.
It's a classic, and really, Mike, what's really happened?
You said Magic is a classic?
Yeah, it is.
Man, Rosenberg would be so mad right now.
First of all, Mike, nobody and I mean that from the bottom of my heart. Nobody can.
Rosenberg was like, stop calling Magic a classic.
Yeah, nobody. Whatever. But Actually, that makes me want to pivot to the point that I was going to make before you said that, which is like what's happened with the media, really, with this culture, is that people who really don't have any responsibility or care for the culture are the ones that started deeming our stuff, whether it's classic or not. And it's like, that's what I mean with these ratings and how we keep talking about Magic, or we keep talking about Pray for Paris, or we keep talking about Alfredo. Like, I keep referencing these projects because it's like up to us to make sure that they get the status that they're truly deserving.
Magic is literally not getting talked about at all. It took a lot of these publications nearly a month or weeks to even review it.
And I think we even had something to do with speeding up that process, Mike, just because we were like, oh, you guys are the worst.
They were going to ignore Magic and act like it never happened. Blue Collar Hustle says the Rare video is hella underrated. I like the Rare video. I like the singles and everything that came off of KD2. KD2 was dope. But Magic, man, it's like...
Did Store Run get a video?
I didn't see it if it got one.
Store Run needed a video.
Back to the Wave God video. That video looks like, to me, what the whole Magic album sounds like.
Mm-hmm.
And I would like to see more of that, especially if that's where they went sonically with the theme. So, hopefully, some of the people in Nas's Corner actually watch this show. We would love to see more visuals, man. Like, what song would y'all like to see a video for next from Magic? I want to ask the people in the chat, and I want to ask you, Coop.
You want to know what?
Meet Joe Black for me. Well, go ahead.
I mean, actually, and this is going to seem... I would want to see him do it kind of like, Streets is Watching style, and like make mini clip out of it. And I would want to hear Speechless, because I love the come into that. It feels epic. They could really do something special with it just because of how it comes in. So I would want to hear Speechless or 4016 building, probably just off the top of my head as far as video.
I see The Truth. I see Joe Black. I see 4016 building.
Right, that's what I mean about
it. I see Speechless. I see Wu-Tang for the children. Wu for the children, excuse me.
And
I see Ugly. This is damn near the whole album, guys.
Which is why the album's a classic, Mike.
That's how you know.
That's how you know. Because you want to know what that takes me back to? I can remember having arguments, like for days and weeks, about the Purple Tape, about what was the best song on there. It's like, no, it's Glacier's Ice. It's like, no, it's Verbal Intercourse. It's like, no, it's Ice Cream. It's like, no, it's Criminology. Be like, y'all are all bugging. It's Incarcerated Scarface. Be like, no, you don't know shit. It's Guillotine. You hear just a verse on Guillotine. It's like, no, you hear Ghost on Rainy Days. And it's like, and you do that, and you do that, and that's classic shit.
That's real.
Yeah,
I mean, it's nothing else you could say. I mean, that's kind of how you know. Like, even when we post on According to Hip Hop, like on the Facebook page where, we got thousands of people, you post a certain album and you ask people what's their favorite song, and it's a bunch of different songs. That's when you know.
Mm-hmm.
Leroy Green, a.k.a. Memphis Bleak, says Magic was cool, not a classic. That's how you get those brunch tickets right there. Rigaraw with the super chat says, peace, y'all. Keep applying pressure on the fake media. Salute. All right. Well, I think that's a decent segue, man. Did you hear Mace's The Oracle Part 2? Yeah, and I know I'm super late on this.
Right. I played it when it first came out. Mm-hmm. And you know me, I'm a music guy, Mike. Like anything that really got some smoke to it, it's like I really don't want to speak on it unless it's like you feel like it's like, no, we should talk about it. Cool. And then I was like, so when you said you wanted to talk about it, it's like, oh, well, I really ain't listened to it since the first time I listened to it. Let me listen again. And I was like, oh, yeah, I forgot to snap it.
There's a lot to pull from the Oracle, too. And again, speaking of mainstream media and that segue, I think the reason why I didn't listen to it off top, because I was just listening to what people were saying about it. I heard Charlamagne say it was like, whatever. He said it was, what was the word he used? He said it sounded dated. And everybody kept harping on the use of auto-tune and all that. For me, sonics and all those things really don't matter as much when it comes to, diss records or whatever people want to call it, because I don't really feel like this was a diss record. This was him just, bearing his soul. And the message, Mace was going in, as far as I'm concerned. And so there's a lot of things to pull from that. But first, I know we have a lot of revisionist history. I think that it would be fair to say, other than Biggie, Mace is probably the second most important bad boy artist ever.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I know Diddy is an artist, but let's just keep it real. Without Mace right there beside him, I don't think that Diddy the artist does what Diddy the artist does without Mace there. It was a Puff Daddy and Mace thing. And I think that off of the chemistry they had, it gave Diddy that validity to rap to the public. You know what I'm saying? Because they were kind of back and forth with it. Mace is extremely important. Mace was incredibly close to the process. So him saying these things holds a lot more weight than Freddie from the band, And I think that a lot of these things that have been said about Bad Boy and the roster and how people have been done over these years, I think needs to be addressed directly, man, because even when Mace said what he said about the fact that Diddy held a show, there was a tribute for Biggie and didn't even give Biggie's daughter tickets and stuff. Like, those are things that, I remember when that happened. I think that she had to publicly go out there on social media to get that situation rectified. Okay. Because, there's a couple of things here. This could go down a whole path. But I know when we posted this stuff on According to Hip Hop, when it comes to Mace and even Freddie from the band, everybody goes the route, okay, you didn't reach your contracts, yada, yada. Let's be real. I think standard artist contracts, more than likely, if someone in their early 20s or late teens is told they have a standard artist contract and they're going to sign the Bad Boy and they're going to blow up, yada, yada, they're going to sign it.
Mm-hmm.
That's fine, all well and good. I think the issue here is the fact that what Freddie was saying sounded like artists that didn't sign certain things were getting blackballed in their industry and weren't allowed to move on with their careers. Now, that's a whole different thing. Go ahead.
It gets so loaded when we get to these types of things, and specifically with this guy. I know, I've dealt with people and have relationships and have had relationships with people that have personally dealt with him,
Mm-hmm.
And so there's two sides to every coin. So it's like a lot of this stuff could and might be true. But it's also, like I told you, I also got confirmation directly from the source that he also took care of everything when Rob was passing. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I think a lot of what you're hearing from this record is quite possibly about the man who used to exist and maybe not the man that exists now, but I don't know. I know that guy used to exist for a fact from people who have told me that have dealt with him directly. People have been signed to him and told me that directly. And I know for a fact, too, that, when this recent situation occurred in the past year's time, he stepped up to the plate and didn't ask for any credit or acknowledgement, too. So much like one of the artists that we're about to cover, Tupac, there appear to be two sides to this guy. And unfortunately, because of him and his stature, you're going to see the bad side of him as a businessman taking advantage of artists, because quite frankly, that's what he's done. And there's really no way to dance around that, but also in that, let's not act like he hasn't done good things as well. That's why I'm bringing up how he handled Rob's passing.
Blue Collar Hustle with the super chat. He says, I feel the underrating of Common's career is insane. The way he represents us black men as an MC and a celebrity is excellent personification. I agree. Okay.
The way he represents us as black men.
I don't want to go down that rabbit hole right now. We're about to rate Common. We can bring that back up. I don't want to lose my train of thought here because I do agree with what you're saying. But I think one thing when it comes to taking advantage of artists, or if we're talking about contractually, a lot of that comes from the top down. When it comes to whoever his distributor is at the time, and Bad Boy in their heyday was distributed by Arista. Those contracts were coming from Arista. Those are probably antique style contracts that didn't really update very well to what the modern artists should be doing or should be making. That's one thing. But the part that I have a problem with actually taking in is, would you say that the amount of people who've ever signed to Bad Boy Records, it's probably like under 30, right? Something like that. The amount of people who've ever had a Bad Boy contract, it's probably around 30 to 40 people or something, right? And we see, yeah, well, let's not count that because many of them were signed to something else, whether it be Block ENT and it was more of a partnership, or, you know, even when 8 Ball and JG did it, they were signed somewhere else. I'm talking about people who signed straight to Bad Boy, like Bad Boy alumni. My point is, it should be a club to a certain extent. And you know, like, you know, from fraternities to different organizations, groups, they make sure that certain people who are a part of that elite group are looked out for. Whether that be connects, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the biggest problem, I think. Like, your contract, whatever, when you were an artist, a lot of that, Diddy might not have had as much control over as we think. Because, again, he's dealing with a distributor, whatever. But there's no reason that a singer from Total is allegedly working at a White Castle, man. Like, it shouldn't happen. I mean, that was some years back, whatever. But you know what I'm saying? Like, you're part of an elite group of people who have been signed to Bad Boy Entertainment. And those people, you should have at least a level of appreciation where it's like, and like I said, everybody's not going to work at the same rate. Everybody doesn't have the same brain, same work ethic. But where are the Bad Boy success stories after the fact? You know what I'm saying? Where it's like, okay, I mean, Sean has his success story, but we know, I mean, that had nothing to do with even the United States of America. That had to do with his ties to Belize.
Well, I actually was about to submit to you, how much of a success was Biggie truly financially before he passed? Because I told you, Mike, his plan, when he realized the money that Puff was getting versus what he was getting, and he was realizing he was the real man behind the machine and the workhorse, he was signed to a 6-album deal. That's how Ready to Die was a single. Life After Death was going to be a double. The next one was going to be a triple. He had the Junior Mafia album, Contractual Obligation.
Well, according to Gene Deal, who was one of the security people for Bad Boy Entertainment, he had conversations with Biggie back in the day, and he says that Biggie was planning his him leaving. So, you know, and based on the numbers and what Biggie brought to the table, I find that very plausible. I mean, I've heard the story that Big was getting offers from other majors, and what people have to understand is Bad Boy was a boutique label at the time. And hold on one second. I need to put my phone on Do Not Disturb. But Bad Boy was a boutique label at the time, and there's only a certain amount of money that, you know, Bad Boy could afford for somebody like a Biggie. So somebody like a Columbia could come in with a truckload for Big. And from what I'm understanding, that's what the Junior Mafia stuff was for. Mm-hmm. And he was building up those acts so he could get this distribution deal, and probably was going to have that deal with whatever said label. And when he played his contract up with Bad Boy, he was gonna move over to that label.
Look,
And I found that very plausible. I mean, it makes sense.
Mike, he was assembling a whole team: Junior Mafia, Charlie Baltimore, Killer Cam. How he get wind of Killer Cam? Murder Mace. You see how it all starts connecting? And hold on. And much like, and this would have been a Jay before Jay thing. Oh, when Big would have left, where would have everybody went, Mike?
Yeah.
They would have went with the greatest MC walking around. They would have went with Big. Locks with Big. Mace, Big. Especially if he would have had Cam with him already. Charlie Baltimore, like, whole team. Yeah, would have had the whole team.
I mean, Big was a big selling point even for Bad Boy itself. And even when Entertainment started out, I mean, that was Cam and Charlie Baltimore's selling point. Big's here.
Yeah. But never underestimate this about Puff. Like, he did make Big into a star. This is like Big is a rough rapper before Puff.
Definitely.
Of the cool G rap variety.
I'm gonna say this, man. I'm gonna say this, and of course, Puff is a genius when it comes to that. I think he's one of the best, I guess, A&R on a traditional sense that hip hop's ever seen. But I think with a lot of these stories out there from artists who were previously signed to his imprint, I think he's got to address this, man. And I think that he has to address this because he is the one that pushes for black excellence, and some of the things that he said on the Benny album, 10 More Crack Commandments and all that stuff. Like, we hear that, and we hear the whole brother love and this and that, but charity starts at home, man. And if the people whose lives that you were supposedly changed for the better aren't saying these things, it needs to be addressed to some extent. And I think Mace, his voice is a little bit more powerful because we've seen Mace see all the different sides of this. He has nothing but great things to say about G-Unit. I think I saw in an interview that he was saying that, yes, he was getting paid very well in G-Unit. So was Mobb Deep. So was MOP. And everybody was enjoying their time there. You know? And again, 50 didn't have to sign MOP. 50 didn't have to sign Mobb Deep. And 50 didn't have to sign Mace either. Honestly, that was 50 giving back to people he knew were dope, people who were probably fans of their work, and getting them an opportunity while he was just on fire. And we haven't seen Bad Boy do anything like that. And it's just the honest truth.
I mean, let's be honest about what he was doing specifically with MOP and Mobb Deep and Mace. He was picking up artists whose primes were beginning to fade, that major labels and even their subsidiaries probably weren't as interested in signing, and he made them viable again.
Similar to what Jermaine Dupri did when he signed Houdini. Like, why did it take an executive from Atlanta, Georgia, to go back and sign Houdini when New York was on fire? It had all these boutique labels in New York, and nobody signed Houdini.
Right.
Like, I get the connection between Houdini and Jermaine, but Jermaine's in Atlanta. Houdini put on not only for hip hop but for New York all together. And when New York is on top, and you know what I'm saying, hip hop is on top, period, like, it shouldn't take Jermaine Dupri to do something like that. Like, I think that's really cool what Jermaine did with Houdini and how he put Run DMC on the Let's Get Married remix, and what 50 did with MOP, Mobb Deep, and Mace. Like, that's dope. Not everybody does that, but I don't know. I think these things need to be addressed when we talk about, black excellence and pushing that type of positivity, which I think is great. And I'm not saying that, one person can ruin people's lives, but let's just keep it real. With the level of access that Diddy has, like, everybody shouldn't be saying this. Now, I get it. You can't please everybody, but there's nobody on that Bad Boy roster that's sitting here saying, nah, man, he good. We good. You know what I mean?
Well, first of all, the path to righteousness, Mike, starts with atonement, contrition, repentance. So the path and the order for things, like the Nas album, it was written. So in terms of what he needs to do, that's already done. But once again, like I was told from somebody who knew him, oh, well, he picks and chooses who he loves. So he has a habit of taking care of the people who were potentially the biggest stars.
What about Mace? He was the second biggest star on Bad Boy. Mace, well, he kept the label alive. I don't want to say resurrected the label. That was Black Rob with Whoa, but
right, and that's part of the reason why he took care of Rob the way that he did at the end, that I imagine. But also too, and here's what Mace needs to remember, and this is what I mean. Like it's it's funny and it's not wrong, but there's some truth on both sides. It's like, well, who made you a star and made you viable?
It's true. It's true. But
I mean,
let's not act like, when it comes to the...
I mean, does Harlem World sell 4 million copies? If he goes the big L route and signs to Columbia, or goes and plays ball like Cam at college, or if he forms or stays in Children of the Corn and they call themselves, what is it, Murder Mace, Killer Cam, and Big L, they're going to sell 4 million units?
Do you think that he reaped the necessary benefits of selling 5 million records?
Oh, probably not. Ain't no way in hell. He's working for Puff.
And again, that's why that's why we know Imaginary Play is clearly about Mace. Selling records being you, but still you want to be me. I guess for every buck you get, it's like 100 for me. You walking around like you got something on me. And that whole, your single was 99 cents, mine was $4 type of thing, like, that's speaking to, the type of contractual situations that were going on over there. And clearly the artists that were over there speaking out about them. I mean, the Lox have always been very vocal about their situation. And I actually kind of look at the Lox situation a little different now. Because when it was happening, I felt like, well, you're only one album in. You don't really expect to get top dollar on your rookie contract. But I feel like now, just looking back at it, the Lox saw the writings on the wall, and they wanted to get out early before they were put in a situation where nobody else would get them. That's why they got the streets behind them to do it.
Yeah, I mean, when you offered that perspective, Mike, it was the first time. I mean, I never had a problem with them leaving because I never felt like they were a fit.
Yeah.
I think when Puff made Big fit, I don't think he even realized originally how all-time great and versatile and adaptable Big was. And I think he thought in his mind he could take other hardcore acts like Big or in Big's vein
and do the same thing.
Yeah. And it's like, nah, dude, that was a one-on-one shot. Because even with the thing, like, and this is what I mean, it's a one-on-one shot, everything with Big worked. Like, the thing with Mace didn't work. Like, Dudes in the Streets was like, hold up, what's up with the shiny shit? Like, Murder Mace. Like, what happened? Yeah. Like, what is that the fuck going on, Mace? Like, and even the same thing with the Lox. And so it's like, with Big, he played it just right. He took it too far with the other street acts, and it didn't blend well. And part of why it didn't blend well, it's like, well, they're not Big.
Well, Big had a foundation, too. You know what I'm saying? Like, these guys were coming out the gate with the shiny suits. So it was like...
Oh, see, that's what I mean. No, there was a Murder Mace before.
No, I'm saying, like, on their first Bad Boy album. Like, Big had a foundation with Ready to Die, which was very dark. And so we kind of looked at... I mean, even back then, we kind of looked at Life After Death as, oh, man, he done came up. You know what I'm saying? Ashy the Classy type thing. So that was the whole moniker anyway. So anything that we saw from Big that was shiny and all of that, it was like, yeah, that's what's up. That's happening for him. But when you come in the door shiny, it's a little different.
Well, hold on. Well, here's what I mean about it wasn't going to work as well. Well, they couldn't do that over because he did that with Big. Like, because here's what I mean. Like, the Juicy video where they got Big, like, in the streets of Brooklyn, the dude doing pull-ups.
Yeah.
The light thing, but they also got him chilling by the pool later on, celebrating, like, getting on.
Yeah, you couldn't really do that with Mace.
Right.
Yeah.
You got the Big Papa video. You know what I'm saying? Where it's Big in the club macking, like with the, you know what I'm saying? It's like, no, those other guys didn't have it like that.
Yeah.
What I'm saying, he had it. And so Puff took it and made it build up into what you see, because what you saw from the videos that Big was in, the singles, it was a progression. It was juicy. And so that's the come up. And then warning is, oh, I done made it and niggas is trying to come and get me. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah, it was a whole story.
It was a story. It played out. Like you can't one-on-one idea, one-on-one guy.
Yeah, Big was special. Shout out to Marquis Davis with the super chat. He said, the homies, when y'all doing that Big review, they want to see us do a Biggie rating. Dude is my favorite rapper of all time. Check out the Biggie and Blackjack collab too. Big on the hook. Want an honest review. Have my grades ready. Okay. Yeah, we're going to check all that out, man. But yeah, I do think Puff has to say something about this because this is Mace. And I don't think that this is a clout chasing thing. And you know what? I don't even like using that term. If that's his story and that's a part of his story and it aligns with everybody else who was in his class, it's what it is. And it didn't really sound like anybody that would. I mean, look, we've heard that whole story where Mace said that Puff wouldn't sell him his masters back. He's offered to do so. And, he's offered to buy it, and has gotten rejected for it. I think that there is a conflict there when you push black excellence or whatever that means, because I guess we need a definition of what black excellence really means to Puff, too. We can't just assume what black excellence means to us and think that there's the same, definition there. But yeah, you can't really push that narrative, and you're not allowing your former artists to actually purchase their own publishing. And then you have all of these unresolved issues with people. Like, I know they did that Bad Boy tour. And I don't know what the background of that was. It looked like everybody was happy then. But it seems like that just wasn't enough. And I don't know if that was put in place to appease people for the time being. Or maybe there were some promises made to get that done that haven't been fulfilled. So,
I mean, where there's smoke, there's fire. So it's clear that he is, not been good with how he has treated his artists financially. Yeah. And you look at the financial place that he's in, and so it's just like, well, dude, we all know it. Just come on and say it so we can all move past it at this point.
Well, Fred's issue, like I said, Fred's issue, not to interrupt you, was interesting to me because he wasn't saying like, look, I don't have a problem with the fact that, I'm not signed to you or whatever. His problem was the fact that he shouted out Khaled and, Ross and all these guys first. I guess he knows these guys. And when he refused to sign something with Bad Boy, he got excommunicated, I mean, essentially from what he says, from the industry where he can't go out there and even do his job as an MC. And that's a problem.
It is a problem, but okay, so I'm always going to be proactive about it from the sense that it's like, okay, you relied on them for that relationship, though. You get what I'm saying? So remember when we were talking about...
Not really relied on them for that relationship. It's one of those things where there wasn't a relationship before, but now that there is, it's like the same people that I used to be able to talk to and work with won't rock with.
So how about this? This is one of those reasons why, I guess, Mike, when you get on, even if you get signed to a label, you immediately go out into the rap world and start building relationships. Remember,
what happens though, let's just say hypothetically speaking, you build those relationships with somebody who has bigger relationships than that, destroys all those relationships that you thought you built.
No, I understand that. So, you have to rule 4080. So
what does an artist do? What does an artist do in those situations though? Like,
it's a nuanced circumstance. I mean, Mike, you're not wrong for like the questions that you're posing to me, and I'm trying to find the best way to navigate through it. It's like, You have to be very meticulous. You know what I'm saying? You have to be a motherfucker sometimes. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you have to play coy. Sometimes you have to be a gangster. You know what I'm saying? You have to be so many different things of how you moving when you're walking into the room and dealing with these people. And there's different
And
ways.
then they say you crazy.
Hold on, there's different ways of playing it depending on who you are. And here's the real fact of the matter at the end of the day. Your talent level is what's going to hold you most overall.
No, that's
like
real.
we've talked many times about how the media has treated Nas and how it feels like there have been efforts to keep him submerged, but he keeps rising to the top. And why is that, Mike?
The fans.
And but why are the
his
fans
talent? Yeah. His talent has kept him afloat, and his fans, the Nas fans, have kept Nas alive. And I think that I can't speak for Nas. I hadn't spoken to him, but I really think that the momentum that his fans are giving him is reinvigorated him, and him crafting right now. I think that the energy from you guys, the fans, that's what's keeping Nas going at this high level right now. So even with that being said, I expect big things from King's Disease 3 because these guys are just having fun.
But the talent is there. The talent gonna speak at the end of the day, because it's like, how about this? And this is what I'm really trying to say at the end of the day, Mike. Like, you gotta be nice enough on the mic that even when somebody like that is talking about you, it makes people think like, hold on. Should I not fuck with this? Hold on, no. You get what I'm saying?
But I mean, that's where Mace comes in, though.
You got to make people pause. Yeah. You got to make people pause. Yeah.
That's where Mace comes in at, though. And even with the Locks and them, I mean, their talent is what allowed them to get away from the Bad Boy situation in the time frame they did. It really helped, too, that DMX was doing what he was doing at Def Jam, and they were able to jump back, with the whole Rough Rider situation. Rough Riders got Interscope distribution just kind of off of DMX momentum, so all of that kind of fell in line for them. Because they were already managed by Rough Riders even when they were on Bad Boy.
True.
And they just made a seamless move right when Rough Riders got that Interscope distribution.
And see, and this is what I mean, too. And also, too, it's like they kind of jumped too soon, Of course, you're looking over there, you're seeing Big, and Big's making his second album, and you feel like you're about to go on this prime run. And, then you got Big's Murder, and then Rough Riders start blowing up, X gets signed, and it's like those dudes are looking like, it's like, oh, man, we signed to the wrong place a year too early. It's like getting signed to the Bulls the year Jordan leaves the team. It's like you might win a ring, but it's just like you got that one ring, and then you're sitting here on the Bulls team, and it's like, hold on, it's like I thought I was about to be part of the rest of the dynasty.
The Godfather says, yo, Mike, did you hear that Nas' last 3 albums hit 2 billion streams on Spotify? Congratulations. Appreciate the super chat. Man, Nas is killing it, man. And I love the momentum that's going on when it comes to Nas and Hit Boy. There's some real magic, for lack of a better term. And and I want to see some more visuals from Magic, too.
It's really going down.
Okay. Well, is King's Disease 2 nominated for a Grammy, I think it
I don't even check stuff like that. Like, if you would have, I would have to see it on according to hip hop's feed.
Well, I think it may have been, but Jay Prince, he spoke out about Kanye West being, I guess, what's the word they're using? They're not using the term banned, but basically being removed from his performance at the Grammys. And this is what Jay Prince had to say. I want to get to this real quick. He proposes hip-hop versus the Grammys. And this is from Black Enterprise. Shout out to them. In a post titled Hip Hop versus the Grammys on his Instagram and Twitter account, Jay Prince, who helped Kanye West and Drake beef, explained these artists should be considered in his plan. He said, I've been watching the Grammys control and dictate our culture to their benefit, up close and personal, for the past 30 years. And all the artists, managers, executives would do is complain, but never had the nuts to come together and do anything about it. Even though the latest episode deals with Trevor Noah and the canceling of Kanye West, this racist act is so much bigger than them. Prince then details the master/slave mentality that the Recording Academy incorporates when dealing with black artists, explaining the basis of the 13th Amendment in the Constitution where slavery was abolished, yet everyone in the prison system and those who are out of prison have been convicted on crimes are considered a slave in the United States. He added, this is the slave master's punishment of nigger mentality and act to remind us, that no matter how much money we have, we're still a nigga in their eyes. So they canceled Kanye and discriminate against Drake, The Weeknd, Nicki Minaj, and many others over the years. This will only be broken by us to unite our powers and bring about change moving forward. And that change that he proposed is a show in Vegas with Drake, Kanye West, Nicki Minaj, and The Weeknd streaming live performances at the same time as the Grammy Awards that is being aired April 3rd. And he is saying that will show that hip-hop is the one that brings the real ratings and definitely take away from the Grammys ratings. What do you think about that?
Let's do it.
I'm with it. Let me go to Nas the Great with the super chat. It says the Grammy nomination this year: KD2, Off Season, Certified Lover Boy, Donda, and Tyler the Creator. Appreciate that.
It's actually
Blue Collar Hustler says KD2 is nominated for Best Rap Album. Bath Salt for Best Rap song, whatever. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Performance, I got you. All right, so this is what I think about it, man. I think that it is about time. I think it's something that definitely is plausible, and it's a way to use technology to our benefit, because I do believe that hip-hop is a big draw when it comes to these award shows. I mean, hip-hop basically runs the culture, especially when it comes to music. We set the tone. And these are some of the biggest stars visually, and I do think that the live performers are the reasons that people actually watch these award shows. But yeah. I'm going to say something that, I guess it's unpopular or whatever, but these award shows are boring, man. Like, these shits is outdated. I think that there's two things that I think that have been outdated since technology and social media have been awry. I think it's post games. And, with the media and stuff, we don't need that in the NBA or whatever sport anymore. And we do not need award shows anymore.
All I'm saying is, it's like Gangstar. It's like the moment of truth, how it starts off. How many times are we going to say this, Mike? We had certain formulas. We update our formulas with the times.
Yeah.
Update the formula. Get these old people running these award shows. Give them a retirement package. Send them about their way. Get those 20 to 25-year-olds that are in your building and be like, hey, tear this shit down and build it back up. Please and thank you. That's what young people are here to do.
Exactly. These award shows are old and stuffy, man. Like, them shits is like, who's watching it anyway? I mean, I'm definitely not going to watch it.
They should have been, like, they got so much money, like, they should have been made this, like, super cool and, like put, like, little mini bars in the middle of the aisles and people can sit at the bar during the award show, get a little appetizers or hors d'oeuvre passed around. Man, make this shit a soiree. Don't make that, like, here's the thing. You go into this just to go really to the after party. And it's like, no. Go ahead and make the award show the party.
Somebody said, bring back the Source Awards. See, this is my thing about the Source Awards. I think it was just a moment in time, and I think that the Source Awards was so dope because those people who became icons, they weren't getting invited to these other award shows. And they were all in the same room because this was the only place that was really going to give them their just due. Rap. We don't have that anymore.
Yeah, rap wasn't.
Yeah, we don't have that kind of hip-hop environment anymore.
People forget, like, okay, so in 1994... rap is only 20 years old. Look at it like an adolescence is literally just reaching maturity of adulthood on some sort of level. So it's like, it's still super young in 94. Still super young. You know? So Wu-Tang Clan isn't getting the recognition outside of the community that we're giving it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Leroy Green says A2HH is the award show. Yeah, I mean, I've thought about that, but it's like how to do it. You know, it's you got to get real creative when it comes to award shows. Things move so fast now. Ain't nobody sitting down for like 2 hours. I would be more prone to do the According to Hip Hop Festival than award show. Go ahead.
Damn all that, Leroy. Why don't you just go ahead when we're done with this podcast and call your rich ass friend finances?
Yeah, is that Jay-Z's way of telling us that he's gonna
all that money you're financing for all these brunches every year?
You know what? That's it. The A2HH luncheon. That's what we gotta do. But speaking of luncheons, though, it's interesting to me that, you know, that everybody who's a power player in hip hop isn't jumping on what Jay Prince is saying and like, yo, yeah, let's do this. Like, I don't understand why Puff, you know, not to bring him back up, but remember he was at the Grammys, what was that, 2 years ago? At the beginning of 2020, before the pandemic hit, he told the Grammys that they had 365 days to get it right? You remember that? So I would think that he would be applauding what Jay Prince is doing and team up and, you know, help these efforts. Same thing with Jay-Z, same thing with Dr. Dre. I mean, this is Kanye West, right? I mean, I thought if you Google Kanye West and go to his Wikipedia, he's actually a part of the Hitman, which was Puff's production team. And we know Kanye West and his relationship with Jay-Z. Why aren't they coming together to support these efforts? I don't understand.
Because they belong to other people, Mike.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they belong to other people.
Well, okay. Well, yeah. I think that exposes this, you know what I'm saying? And I love the idea, and I hope that Jay Prince forges forward on this. I know one thing, if Kanye West jumps out and says anything about it, it's happening. And you saw what Kanye was able to do at that listening event.
Yeah.
He could stop the world.
Well, you see these guys, you know, they have to call all of their attorneys and all of their uplines and all that, you know, there's a whole team of people that they have to call before they can even make a move, because that's what happens when other people own you.
The Real says Jay Prince is polarizing. Yes, he is, and so is Kanye West. And with them two together, I mean, honestly, Kanye could do this this Vegas thing by himself and stream it at the same time as the Grammys and take all of the Grammys ratings away. All they got to do is make it free, because people stream anyway. You know what I'm saying? Like, people who are paying attention to what's going on in music right now, they're not sitting in front of a TV. They're sitting in front of a computer, their phone. Whoever's watching us right now, for the most part, probably isn't even watching this on a TV. So, yeah, they make it streamable and stay real technologically forward. The Grammys are done because they're not doing anything different.
What do they do?
That's what I used to like about the MTV Awards, though. Back in the day, like, the MTV Awards will always bring some new technology to the forefront.
Or they would do, you know what I like? I like the design, the architecture. Mm-hmm. They would always do something different or funky with the layout.
They would switch up cities. You know what I'm saying?
Switch up color schemes, switch up backdrops, switch up hosts, have different things, try different stuff. Yeah,
communication devices. Like, it would be different technological things that the MTV Awards used to do that made them, to me, a lot more interesting than any other awards show.
Right, that's what I'm saying. It's like, man, we need to.
Yeah, that whole thing of people sitting in the audience and with assigned seats and suits and clapping on cue and these, you know, live performances that aren't really live and fake audiences, man, that shit is over. It's just done.
Mike, that's some old white people shit. Let's just call it what it is. That's old white people shit. And we got to stop doing things that old white people have formatted us and trained us to do, even post-slavery.
Well, I think this is an opportunity to basically reset the table, and who better do it than Kanye, Nicki, Drake. And The Weeknd, I think, is a wild card pick. I would like Lil Wayne to be a part of that, man, because I think that he's a person that doesn't get his just due in mainstream society for his contributions. And him and Kanye had a lot to do with each other's, well, Kanye was kind of, his rise was a little bit before Wayne's, but they've always helped each other collaboratively throughout their different rises.
Yeah.
But
Wayne was here first, though.
What's that?
I said, but Wayne was here first.
Wayne was technically here first, but I think that Kanye had a lot to do with the Carter 3 being that crossover mainstream, I don't want to say success, but just breakout for Wayne.
It was a mainstream breakout, and so I get what you're saying on that level, but I think somewhere after the Carter 1 and 2, he had kind of like cemented his like status like in the community.
You think so?
Yeah,
because I even think his appearance on Graduation was a big deal for him.
Really? I never felt that way.
I think Wayne being on Barry Bonds was a big deal. Because what other mainstream heavyweight project was he getting those invites to? Because you remember when him and 50 was kind of going back and forth for whatever it was. And 50 got on MTV and was like, you can't even name the first single from Wayne's last album. You remember that? Because Wayne was buzzing, but he still didn't have like that hit until the middle.
Okay. I mean, he had Hustler Music, Fireman, Go DJ.
Fireman was the first single, but that was what people couldn't name.
Yeah, I remember.
Because 50 was like, no, the first single. Yeah, 50 used to do.
Right.
But yeah, man.
Can't wear that. Why? That's where my stash at. Put my Mac down. That's where you lack it.
The Internet Artist Repertoire says, no, it wasn't, Mike. Well, I guess we talking about Wayne. Wayne is one of those people who's really tough to define when and where certain things happen because he had so much.
See, this is what I mean.
And he had the mixtapes.
Well, a lot of people will identify Wayne as a star even before his solo career even started. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, that's real.
So, so it's kind of hard to rate that, And then there's his stardom as a solo artist, So,
well, Jay-Z peeked out. Speaking of Jay, it was a text message that he sent to Just Blaze. Just Blaze posted it on his Twitter. Everybody was debating the whole water from a well. Sell water to a well, excuse me. And some people thought it was well, W-E-L-L, and others thought it was well, W-H-A-L-E. So this is the text message that Just Blaze sent. He was like, it's from Hove. This is funny anyway. Have you seen this image? It says, from Hove, : Who texts somebody back like that? Like, first of all, that's like me texting you from my phone says, from Mike, D, : and then go on with my message. Anyway, it says from Hove, : hi, well. It's never a coincidence when these things happen. I try to make things work on multiple levels every time I sit down to create. It keeps me engaged. And Just Way said, double entendre. This is hilarious and made my day. Thank you. Listen, man. Listen. I'm so glad Nas put out the Wave God music video. Listen, man, where's the music at, man? We're not going to start doing this, Jay. We're not going to start doing this, man.
No, and like I told you behind the scenes, in all fairness to him, he's the king of the double entendres. Like in my opinion. Nobody does the double entendre better than him. But no.
I think he's the king of double entendres as well. Same thing with the whole Jackie Robinson line I was quoting last episode. From Brooklyn We Go Hard. But this isn't one of those moments to highlight. It's clear that he means whale as in the fish in the sea.
Like I said.
Leroy Green, tell us what he meant then. Because Leroy Green's probably the one that sent the text to Just Blaze.
Look, like I told you, I'm willing to give him some credit and just haul past this. just because he is the best at that. And when you're the best at something, I'm going to say that anything is plausible. I just don't think this is it. But plausible because it's him. This is how about this? This is one of those things that he is exceptional at.
Oh, he's a great MC, period. Michael Brown says exactly what I said. He said water to a well, W-E-L-L, in this context makes 0 sense. Exactly.
There you go.
Are you selling something to an inanimate object? Fuck out of here, man. Listen, man, we gotta stop this, man. We gotta stop this, man. Like, come on, man. When he was using well in the way he did on America Dreaming, surviving droughts, I wish you well. Yeah, how sick am I wish you, all that was great. But this right here was not one of those moments. Even when I heard You Don't Know those times, I was never like, I wonder what he means.
Right, or like the one on the last verse on Thank You. You know what I mean? Off the Blueprint 3. Where he compared like rappers' careers to like the building going into the building up like he does this all the time. So it's like, no, that's not it. That's not how you do what you do it.
Well,
because he takes it further. He always takes it further than that. That's how I know. It's like, oh, well, this ain't it because you always go further than that. Like if it was really him and if it was meant to be, he would have
carried it on. Yeah, because you're right. Because he does always go further with that.
Now,
if we're talking about the lines and like, go ahead.
No, you're going to get 4 bars of that. When he goes into double entendre mode, if he's in 16-bar verse mode, 4 of the bars are going to be like that.
Oh, definitely. And like what he did with The Rock on Dirt Off Your Shoulders, the running back and rock and this and that. Yeah, those are intentional. This right here was, I don't know who pulled this out and made people think that this was a double meaning or something. Because again, is Jay-Z sitting at a well trying to sell it the water?
Just stop.
And obviously he's not going to be, swimming underwater trying to sell water to the actual well, but it makes sense to what he's saying in context. Like Michael Brown said, this is context, man. This is context. But yeah, we find a way every week. And it's something I noticed just following hip hop. They find all kind of ways to get Jay-Z in the news.
Every week.
It seems like it's always like, you remember when he signed a baseball or something, or wouldn't sign a baseball rather, when a lady came up to him and tried to get him to sign the baseball, he didn't. I'm like, why is this news?
Right. So here's where Nas fans aren't being stands. It's like Nas just made a classic rap album and nobody's still talking about it except for us. But y'all find a way. The media. And when I'm saying y'all, Leroy. I'm not saying you in your camp, Leroy. That's your job. I'm saying the media finds a way to insert him in the conversation, even when there's no music to insert, and even when the music that's been inserted has been subpar.
This was about, I guess he was inserted because we're talking about Pusha T in the Arby's commercial or whatever. And it's like, why is this a conversation?
But they're going to find a way, though. You know what I'm saying?
It's crazy, man. I see some of these Jay-Z stories. I see some of these Jay-Z articles that pop up on like XXL or whatever. I'm like, why is this even a story? I'm trying to find an example real quick, while we're on live air, because this stuff is ridiculous, to be honest.
No, because here's what I want to say. Even if Kanye is making headlines, like, he makes music and has been, and like, he's been pretty active still. Like is Kanye even taking 2 years off that you can think of, Mike?
Not really. Even on top of that, it's like Kanye is a personality. And we do expect certain things from him because of his personality. Jay's not really a personality. So these stories that we're getting, they're stories like Jamie Foxx does a hilarious and accurate Jay-Z impersonation. What? Why is this an article? Like, hold on, I gotta find another one, man. Boom boom. No, that's not it. Man, they got a lot of useless stuff. But yeah, you get the point though. They find a way to insert him in these conversations, man. But I guess that's what happens when, you know, you're the GOAT, right?
When they want you to be.
You know, it's, well, someone said in the comment section, it's social engineering. And you know what, to be truthful and, you know, all jokes aside, it is somewhat social engineering. It's like, don't forget about Jay-Z, guys. Don't forget about Jay-Z. Even though he's not making any music right now to make you, you know, remember he's the great MC that he is, he still has to be in the news cycle. And like you said, I think the issue with this is the fact that you have Nas, who is his contemporary, and honestly, I don't give a fuck how anybody feels. He's his equal, regardless. If you're a real hip-hop fan, you know that. The fact that he's out here making classic material and some of the best material in his career, and it's getting no coverage, and Jay-Z's out here not signing a baseball, and that becomes a story, that's a problem.
So that tells you all you need to know about how this media hip-hop news cycle works. Like that's it in a nutshell. It's like, okay, nothing about this classic rap shit.
You guys aren't about, you know, these publications aren't showing that they're about the music.
Right.
You know, Truist says, favorite Nas double entendre or more. Do you have a favorite Nas double entendre?
Not off the top of my head. When people ask that, it's like, I mean, I'd have to like go and dig on that, you know.
Well, we're about to get to the chart too, so I guess
because also too, he's not renowned for that necessarily as an MC. And not saying that he doesn't do it, but he has other gifts that I think supersede that gift. Wouldn't you say?
Oh yeah, definitely. And you know, and I think that, you know, that's why this rating system we have is so interesting, because there are a lot of things that others achieve higher marks in than some of the greats, and you know, and vice versa, obviously. But it's all about that balance. I don't think the double entendres are that important for him. I was going to ask you, though, in overall lyricism, how important are double entendres? And how important are punchlines?
Okay, so that's one of those things. It's like the punchlines and the double entendres are one of those things when you're already a dope MC, it adds. It's like when you see, like, it's like when a player who typically, it's like when Michael Jordan developed his post game. You know what I mean?
I think that's a great analogy, yeah.
Yeah, so it's like, no, I already know that you can score, but it's like, can you score in like a variety of ways? That's when the punchlines and the double entendre and those other things come into play. So I don't think it's necessary or mandatory as a part of your skill set. And that's why I say Jay is the best at it, because of all the great MCs. I think he's the one that's incorporated the most and in the most effortless manner, because the double entendre fits his conversational style.
Well, you know what? I think that in all fairness, when we talk about growth as an MC and just adding to your repertoire, and you kind of using that basketball example where Jordan was able to add that back to the basket part of his game in the post move or fadeaway or whatever, I think Jay's done a really good job of, over his career, adding to his repertoire as a lyricist in ways where Nas really hasn't. But the caveat here is you can see that certain people that were around Jay in different periods were probably a part of that.
Well, what I would also submit to you is that Nas never had to. He was already at a certain level very, very early on. And that's what I mean. So, like, when you see Jay incorporate the double entendre more, well, that kind of coincides with him being a better MC more, because it's one of those things that he realized, hold on, wait, I'm great at that, and it fits conversationally what I do well already. So that's him paying attention to himself. So he's smart for doing that. Like Mike, like just how we were talking, 44 fours is superior to 22 twos. It's because the entendres are better, because it's one of those things that he's like, no, he knows how to display that. You know?
No, you're right. Yeah. I'm sorry. I'm going through deleting some of these, you know, some of the spam, man. We got spam in the chat. We do need to get a moderator popping off. We'll do that next episode, definitely.
Yep.
Yeah, no, I agree with everything you just said, man. I think it's time to go to the chart, man. Y'all ready for us to do this chart?
Hey, go ahead and get started and give the rundown of who we're covering. I need 2 seconds.
Okay, go ahead. Do your thing. Let me know if y'all can see everything good on this chart, man. So this is what everything's looking like at this point. We replaced competitive era for songwriting skills. Now, like I told Coop earlier, man, since we had a lot to cover today, and I think we're going to cover more of it on Friday. The 5 MCs that we're going to cover today is Common, Prodigy, Lil Kim, Tupac, Ice Cube. And we're going to go ahead and get to the rating system in a second. But the other MCs that we were missing from this list, well, you know what? I'll just let y'all know who we're going to cover Friday. Were you ready to go ahead and get started?
Yeah, we can get started. I mean, you can go through who we're covering Friday as well.
Oh, yeah. I'll do that in a second, man. I got Common, man. Lyrics. I gave Common a 14.
So did I.
Somebody said, can you make it larger? You know what? That's what we're going to do.
Yeah, that's why I didn't even want, I realized after the first show, I'm like, I'm just going to do mine live from now on anyway, just about the size and the font and the format for the other stuff we got to put up.
Yeah, because we got to get it on the same page. Just the way that it's formatted is kind of difficult. All right, This is what I'm going to do. Let me make this larger for the people out there real quick. And I'll just kind of...
While you're doing that, I am going to tell the people who we're covering Friday. So you got the first 5, which is Common, Prodigy, Lil Kim, Tupac, Ice Cube?
Yep.
All right, our next 5 coming up are going to be MC Lyte, T.I., Scarface, Jadakiss, and Lauryn Hill. And Mike, while you're still cranking that up, I actually was thinking about our potential next 10. What do you think about this next 10?
Who you got?
I got Biggie, Ghostface, Raekwon, MF Doom, Foxy Brown, Rick Ross, Nicki Minaj, Big Daddy Kane, Slick Rick, and Drake.
I like it. I was listening out for Nicki Minaj, actually. I think Nicki Minaj is extremely underappreciated. And yeah, I'm looking forward to ranking her.
Yeah, I think that needs to be the next 10 after we get done with that 5 on Friday. I think that's our next 10. That's some heavy hitter stuff right there.
Somebody, A Double says Common is 12 lyrically. What did you get Common lyrically?
Okay, first of all, you're fired. Not allowed to talk about rap anymore.
What did you give Common lyrically?
I gave him a 14. Whoever gave him a 12 not allowed to talk.
I gave him 14. I gave him an 8 on voice.
So did I.
I gave him on delivery, I gave him an 8.
So did I.
On storytelling, I gave him an 8.
I gave him a 9. I think he's underrated as a storyteller. You remember One Day It All Makes Sense?
Yeah.
The Stolen Moments?
Yeah.
I thought
he still got I Used to Love Her too, so.
Right. But I thought he takes regular stuff and makes entertaining stories out of it, and that's hard to do. Like somebody stealing like your CD, you made a 3-part story of it, and you got Q-Tip and Thought on there singing the hooks to it and stuff and doing. No, that's dope. That was the creative part of him that became a better songwriter after Resurrection.
How did you like The Big Payback? Grandmama's Payback, whatever it was on Like Water for Chocolate.
On Like Water for Chocolate,
yeah.
I don't love it the way everybody else does, but it's a notch in the cap. You know what I mean? It's
Song for Asada.
Love that.
Yeah.
Love that. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I'm bugging. That's nice.
Yeah. Think about it. I mean, because Resurrection is the stories that are on there. They're what I like to call little mini hood stories. Mm-hmm. They're kind of detailing his failures. You know what I'm saying? But he's still telling a story, so he's got storytelling skills. Yeah.
Okay. Grace Torrey says he is a storyteller, just a tier below Nas. Okay.
9.
Well, that'd be a 9.
That would be a 9. Yeah.
All right. So storytelling, catalog of albums. I gave him 15 on that.
I gave him 14 because you don't get to make Electric Circus and get a hall pass, okay?
Man, Electric Circus is dope. My problem with his catalog...
And I'm not done. His first album.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you took points off of that.
Yeah, you got to take points for that. Like the first album...
I think that's fair. Universal Mind Control is my problem with him.
Actually, you want to know what? Now that you say it like that, Mike, I can deal with the Electric Circus thing because Dilla does have some beats on there.
Yeah.
I can deal with that.
It was experimental, but Universal Mind Control? Nah.
Keep that.
But I will say that his top 5 albums, very tough for anybody to compete with.
His top 5, I went and listened to Resurrection this week for the first time in a long, long, long time. And for people that still love that album and think it's his best album, it's like, oh, that's the lyricist that you love.
Yeah.
And that lyricist is not a great songwriter. And he left some of that lyricism behind after Resurrection to become the great overall artist that you see today, but lyrically is still intact. Like, how about this? If the guy on Resurrection shows up against Cannabis on One Day It All Makes Sense on Beast from the East, that's a way closer fight. But it was
are you talking about making a name for ourselves?
Yeah, making a name for ourselves. Not Beast from the East. I'm sorry, that's the Lost Boys joint.
I was about to say, yeah, if he was on there, he would have got smashed. Anybody that was going to be on Beast.
No, you would have caught an L that day. Anybody would have caught
anybody. Redman gave a great effort and still caught that L.
That's a great Redman verse.
That's a great Redman verse.
It's not a good Redman verse. It's a great Redman.
Stress, success, not wearing a vest.
So I get what people say about that guy that's on Resurrection. Those songs aren't great. As in the songwriter on there isn't great. The MC is. That's why I Used to Love Her stands out so much, because it's the best full song on there. But he's got other stuff like Communism. You know what I'm saying? Watermelon.
Yeah, no, real. Shout out to Jay Short with the super chat. He says, how many albums do you need in the bank before you make an Electric Circus? I think that's a really good point. But I think it's irrelevant in the sense where you got Can I Borrow a Dollar already. You know,
you already made a dud, and then you made Universal.
I don't look at Electric Circus as a dud. I look at Electric Circus as
Can I Borrow a Dollar is a dud.
Yes, I look at Electric Circus as an experiment that didn't pan out in the way that thought it was going to. I mean, anybody that's ever recorded, I'm sure you recorded something that you thought in your head was going to go a certain way, and it didn't go that way. The Universal Mind Control, that shit is just whack.
No,
it's just whack. Like, it's not even, I can't even make excuses for that. You talk about a forgettable. I'm with you on that, man. I can't give him a 15 because of those 3 efforts. And I give him a pass because I personally like Electric Circus.
You want to know it? No, I just thought about something with Electric Circus, and I've probably been too hard on it, and here's why.
Come Close is dope.
No. Think about this. In 94, he made Resurrection, right? In 97, he makes One Day It'll All Make Sense. In 99, he makes Like Water for Chocolate. And then, Like Water for Chocolate has the light on it. And Electric Circus' first single starts off with Come Close with Mary J., which is very light-ish. And so he totally had us fooled about the progression. It didn't seem experimental based on the first single and based on the progression of where he's taking it. And here's what I mean, the progression. He went from doing songs like I Used to Love Her to doing records with Erykah Badu and Lauryn Hill on One Day It'll All Make Sense. And then he actually finally made it big with a record like that. And so we thought we were seeing a progression, and then he hit us with all this funky stuff. The Universal Mind Control is just whack. Just whack.
Universal Mind Control came after Finding Forever.
No good. It did.
Yeah, See, now that, to me, that is a much drastic drop off than Like Water for Chocolate. And I feel like Water for Chocolate is like his second best album.
No, so a lot of people told us that we're bugging in the chat for saying that B and Like Water for Chocolate are better than Resurrection. And it's like, no, that's the lyricist you're talking about.
B is something else.
Yeah, B and Like Water for Chocolate are clearly, like, just on a production level, they are so far ahead of Resurrection. It's ridiculous.
To me, B is better than The Blueprint. And that's just the truth, in my opinion.
I'm listening to B before I listen to The Blueprint, too.
I mean, from beginning to end?
Yes, from start to finish. You're right.
Because for me, I feel like when it comes to the B and the Blueprint argument, or B and the Blueprint argument, it's the jigga that nigga jigga, hola Ovito, and I don't care what anybody says, Renegade, that takes it out of that argument.
You want to know what it is, too? It's also the highs of that album. That album has some extremely high highs that doesn't play as even with those songs when you sit it next to a beat, which is consistently great. Yeah. Like, how about this? It doesn't have one song on there that's messing like with You Don't Know or Heart of the City, probably. But from beginning to end, a better album. And that's what I mean about how his great isn't as great as the other greats' greats. But when you put him together, properly on a project like Beat or like Water for Chocolate, he can be all-time great. He can be top 10ish. Yeah.
You Don't Know is a top 3 Jay-Z song to me. Maybe
Yes.
higher than that.
Might be a seminal record. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. But I'll put The Corner up against Heart of the City any day. And you know how I feel about Heart of the City. I think that's their best collaboration.
I prefer The Corner. I just, know how people feel about Heart of the City. So
I would put The Corner up against Heart of the City any day.
Oh, well.
Any day.
I'm with you on Beat.
Black church services, murderers, Arab serving burgers, cats with gold permanents. Come on, man.
Move their bag as herbalists.
That shit was a movement, man. That right there, that took him out of that whole way of people thought about electric relaxation. Nah, what am I talking about? Electric Circus. That removed the memory of Electric Circus, period. After we heard The Corner, it was it.
No, that was it. When he said, got some cousins with flows, hope they open some doors so we can cop clothes and roll in the roads. I was like, oh, that's the dude from Resurrection.
I mean, he even said it on Heard Him Say. It was like,
Heard Corner, sir, that nigga is back. They said the crochet pants and the sweater was black. Heard me on the corner said, man, that nigga back.
Exactly. The Corner is a moment. So I would put that up against Heart of the City any day.
The Corner is his career moment, Mike.
And I think that, in my personal opinion, I think Heart of the City is the second best song on the Blueprint. Very strong.
I prefer All I Need, but that's just personal preference.
Nah, yeah. I feel you, but yeah.
Dave's delivery on there is so silky. I love that's that conversational flow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And the jab is stiff. Left hand and lean up like a little past six. Go on with your little ass hits. Peep my rap sheet. Nigga 3 classics.
The truest says The Food. I put The Food up against whatever y'all think is the third best song on the Blueprint too.
I would too, actually. So. I said 2 songs, and I was like skating with that.
Yeah. B is deep. Okay. So I'm cool with going 14 when it comes to catalog because of those missteps.
Yeah.
Collaboration, I went 9.
I gave him an 8.
Okay.
But I'm gonna tell you why.
Go ahead.
What's his best collaboration? And where's his memorable collaboration at?
The first one that comes to mind when you say that is Get 'Em High.
Okay, me too.
Then I'm gonna go not Resurrection, but Respiration.
Okay.
Do we count stuff like 199?
Yeah, I do.
Okay. Oh man, that's heavy.
But okay, so that's what I'm saying. So weigh that up against Nas and Jay.
Yeah, he doesn't have a whole lot.
It's not as much, and it's not as memorable. It's a couple steps below. Like his guest appearances, Get 'Em High to me is his most memorable guest appearance. It's like, put that in context for an all-time great MC, and like, where would that be on Nas or Jay's list? Probably like what, 16, 17 on their guest appearance sheet?
You're right.
Mm-hmm.
I think that, Get 'Em High and Respiration is probably the top 2. Mm-hmm. What do you guys think in the chat? What are some Common's best collaborations?
The Root stuff, You and I Verse at War, Act 2, Love of My Life, that are on Philadelphia and Things Fall Apart, respectively.
Lynn says Erykah Badu, Love of My Life. I was going to say that.
Love of My Life. That might be his most memorable performance for the masses.
Yeah.
As far as collaboration.
That was a movie record. I just watched Brown Sugar last night, man. Me and Dana watched Brown Sugar last night.
Great couple movie. That's what's up.
Great movie, man. I feel like I'm living that life, man. Of Taye Diggs' character, as far as like, in the record world and the hip hop world. Well, more so her character, really. It's a little bit of both.
No, I can see that for y'all a little bit. Yeah. See some of those shades, totally.
All right. Collaborations, I'll go down to 8. I'm with you on that. Longevity of records. I said 9.
I said 9 too.
I think that Common has some long-lasting records.
He does, Mike. I'm going to tweet this probably. They're going to be playing The Light till it's dark and hell is hot.
That's a good one. You should tweet that, definitely.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty good, huh?
I see what you did there.
Like
Does Jay-Z approve of that line?
I don't know. He's not the only one. He's not the only one with gifts out here, though.
Hey man, don't be surprised if you don't hear that in a bar coming up.
Right.
Jigga. All right, longevity of career. I gave him a 10.
I did too.
And you know what? This was competitive era, and I think I didn't change my score. But songwriting skills,
I gave him a 10.
I'm with that. I'll give him a 10 songwriting skills.
Because there's nothing that he can't write. Think about it. He can write battle rhymes. I mean, the songwriting skills. He's made hit records. He's made street records. He's made dope collaborative records. He's made hip hop R&B blend records. Like his pen game is pretty versatile.
Hold on, y'all. Bear with me 1 second. I'm about to actually try something real quick. So I'm going to put this over this. And when it's time to get to the next one, then I'm just going to... Okay, there we go. All right. Got it. That actually worked a lot quicker on live than I thought it would. Okay, so legacy. Man, I went 9.
I went 8. Because I feel like he's hurt his legacy in the last 5 years. And I feel like he didn't have a 10 legacy when he walked out. I felt like his legacy was a 9 at the end of that run that he had that was great.
And you know what? I understand what you're saying, and I think I'm good to go down to an 8. I was really giving him this based on what he means to Chicago. But I've always said this.
Yeah.
I've always said this, though. I feel like if Common was from Brooklyn or Queens, he would be held higher in these conversations based on his catalog.
More people would fight for him. More people would fight for him.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. I mean, I feel the same way about Scarface, too. I think that if Scarface was from the Bronx or Brooklyn or Queens, it would, these top whatever conversations would be nothing. His name would always be in them. And I think that Common being from Chicago has kind of hurt his overall legacy because Chicago isn't really just known for what he does. Chicago has a variety of things that they do well hip-hop wise, and I think that he kind of gets labeled as an East Coast MC. Am I wrong?
That's what I was about to say, and it's funny that you're saying this. The best MC that comes out of that city doesn't sound like really an MC from that city. If you look stylistically at what he does, actually no, early Common is stylistically.
Yes, Can I Borrow a Dollar Common is.
Can I Borrow a Dollar Common is that rapid and fast-paced linguistic, that crucial conflict, that brat, that twister. Yes, like he used to do that. It didn't work well for him, and that's why he slowed it down on Resurrection. And by the time you get to One Day It'll All Make Sense, it's like that Chi-Town flow was almost non-existent on One Day It'll All Make Sense. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's all over Can I Borrow a Dollar? You hear it on Resurrection. It's non-existent by 97.
I think that's fair. He's changed his styles a lot over the years, too. Yeah. You know, me and my man Damaris, shout out to Damaris from Chicago. And there's some people in Chicago in the room, man. Let us know if we're wrong, you know? Because it's different when you're actually in the city and live in the city. But I get most of my Chicago, I guess, perspectives from Damaris. And he was just talking about how, you know, Can I Borrow a Dollar Common and even One Day It All Makes Sense Common, like you'll never hear that style ever again. The way he rapped on there, you're never going to hear that again.
He doesn't perform any records from that time either, I think, except for I Used to Love Her. You hear anything from the first 3 albums, really?
No.
So, and this is one thing, and this is what I mean. If you're going to treat your career like your career started when Like Water for Chocolate started, that's what I mean about how your legacy, you know, catalog, some of these things can't be 10s because it's like, well, you don't treat it like it's a 10. You treat your career kind of performance-wise like Water for Chocolate and then go. That's your 4th album.
That's real. Okay.
That's real. Yeah.
Okay, I'm cool with that. All right, so legacy we're making 8. Let me make note of this. Live performance. I gave him a 10 there. I think he's a great live performer.
I've seen him live. I saw him do a 15-minute set where he really wasn't even planning to perform, and he literally freestyled. And when I mean one of those real freestyles, I mean, how about this? It was
I'm wearing a purple shirt. Hurt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, you know how people talk about those Black Thought moments where Thought just goes in his zone and starts, you know what I'm saying? I watched him do that live, like from the side of the stage, and just go and be in his, and it was special to watch him do that, and not too many guys live, you know. And this is around the Finding Forever B run too, Mike, that he's doing this. So he's big at the time, and just to see him do that, like on some like on some rap shit.
And just like Method Man and Redman, he stays in really great shape, which a lot, and Big Daddy Kane too. Stays in very good shape to allow him to perform at a high level. Miles Cage Jr. says, "Coop, Common's the best MC out of Chicago." He says that we're tripping on Can I Borrow a Dollar? You know, I think that people in Chicago may feel about Can I Borrow a Dollar like people in Atlanta feel about T.I.'s I'm Serious. And I'm going to be perfectly honest. I never liked I'm Serious like that. Still don't. I feel like T.I. found who he was on trap music, his sophomore album. And I feel very similar to that when it comes to Common and Resurrection. And I think that their performance is proof positive of that. Common doesn't perform anything from Can I Borrow a Dollar, just like T.I. doesn't perform anything from I'm Serious.
Valid points, Mike. Yep. And we said that Common was the best MC to ever come out of Chicago. I don't even think that's a question, really.
Yeah, he is. He means so much to Chicago.
Yeah.
Okay. So content, I gave him a 10 on that too.
Me too.
Content's 10. Oh, let me see where we going. And intangibles. Whew. I think that's where he's low at.
What'd you give him?
I gave him an 8.
So did I.
Okay. Hook game. I gave him a 7.
So did I. This is his weakest part to me, because when I thought about it, it's like, oh, he's not really a dope hook writer. And he really doesn't have any memorable hooks that you can think of where he's singing the hooks.
Yeah, I'm trying to think like some of his best work. I mean, some of the best work from B that comes from Kanye West.
Like Water for Chocolate, same thing. 6 Cents. That's Primo on the first single. The Light is the second single.
Yeah, and that's Dilla's sample.
You want to go back to One Day It All Makes Sense? Retrospect for Life. That's Lauryn Hill singing the hook.
It is.
All Night, or whatever the song was with Erykah Badu was the second single. That was Erykah singing the hook. You know.
I give Versatility a 10.
I gave his Versatility a 9 just because he hasn't made the hip hop street records that have landed like some of his hit records actually have. Like,
really?
What's his
What about The Corners?
Hold on. I'm about to say, is The Corner his Microphone Fiend record?
I think so. And you got that song, The Game. I don't know if you like that record. I
like The Game a lot. I like Shot City more than The Game, though.
Shot City is my shit.
Yeah.
Shot City is one of my 3 favorite Common records.
I rap with the Passion of Christ, nigga, cross me.
Took it out of space, and niggas thought they lost me. I'm back like a chiropractic D-boy survival rap. Saint 94, Joey, and go back. We were wondering if he was throwing a shot at Nas on that, man. The game need a makeover. My man retired. I'm going to take over until these halftime niggas break sober.
Raw hustlers, get your bacon soda. Yeah.
Too many rape the culture. Yeah, that record's great. You can't fake being a soldier. Listen to the tapes are ultramagnetic to the fact the Messiah is black. All right, let me get to LP's super chat real quick. He says he should be a 13 on catalog. He got Electric Circus, Universal Mind Control, Let Love, and Beautiful Revolution. Can't be a 14 in my opinion with that. Those are very valid points. Very valid points. So what are we going to do when Snoop Dogg comes around?
Be honest.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
I actually agree with him on that.
I agree with him. That's a lot of marks off. I don't think Beautiful Revolution is whack.
No. You want to know what it is? Hold on. He just named 4 subpar albums, and here's why we got to take it down a notch. He only got 5 really dope albums. So you got 5 great albums and 4 subpar ones.
Your batting average is going down.
The average goes down. So he's right about that, because it's like, we need more dope projects if you're going to have 4 subpar efforts. Because I think Jay and Nas got 4 subpar efforts, but guess what they got? They got more than 5 great records album-wise.
No, that's real. And you know, I guess even with those inefficiencies and whatnot, that's probably why I gave his versatility a 10. Because he's willing to try. You know what I'm saying?
What? I'll give you that. We'll give his versatility a 10 because he'll shoot. Yeah,
he got records with the Neptunes, got records with Kanye, got records with Dilla, got records with No ID.
Primo.
And Primo, he's made dope records with all of these people.
Oh, you're right.
And so, he's been very versatile when it comes to that.
Oh, you're right. I'll give him a 10 for versatility. I can see that.
Okay. All right, cool. Let's get back to the chart. Who we got next? Oh, man, I couldn't wait for this one, man. Prodigy.
Yeah.
This was hard to rate for me. Lyrics, I said 14.
Yeah, damn right. I want to say 15, but that's personal.
Voice, I gave him a 10.
Voice, I gave him a 9 because the voice wasn't the same at the end.
Okay, that's fair. I can do that. I can dock that.
It's kind of similar to BMX. You know, it's like, well, not as it was in the beginning. So
I can dock that. That's fine.
A lot of that is health related. That's why I was like, it was tough to call that. It's like, oh, well, Fam was sick.
Delivery 9.
Yeah.
His delivery fell off though, but
I'm about to tell you, but that was a 10 for me until
Burn.
Pretty much until Burn, yeah.
Well, to the takeover, we got to keep it a buck. Storytelling 8.
Yeah.
Catalog of albums, I said 14.
I did too.
Okay.
Because they never really made any whack material.
Nah, and then you got his solo career out there. You know what I'm saying?
Dope stuff. HNIC, Return of the Mac.
Yep.
Yeah.
14. All right. Collaborations, I gave him a 9.
Why?
You know what? Most of it's QB collaborations, I think.
All QB. It's all Queens. It's Nas and LL.
You know what? I think that could have been one of the things that kind of stopped him from going over the top.
It is.
Yeah. His collaborations is what did you give him?
I gave him a 7 because there's not a lot of collaborations. His best collaboration is his verse on the I Shot You remix. Okay? That's
by far.
By far.
Okay, 7.
Everything else is on a Nas album. Everything else is on a Nas album or on an LL album. And that's an LL album.
That's true. It is an LL album. Okay.
Yeah, so I gave him a 7.
So yeah, collaboration 7. I'll change that. Longevity of records, I gave him a 10.
I damn sure gave him a 10 for that. That's living forever.
Longevity of career, I gave him a 9.
Me too.
These guys were kids, man. You know what I'm saying? Now, I didn't, I rated something else with the songwriting skills. With songwriting skills, I think I'm going to go 9.
I gave him a 9 as well.
Legacy, I gave him a 9.
Same here.
Okay. Live performance, I think I'm willing to go 7. I put 8.
I put 7.
I'm fine.
They weren't known for their performances.
Yeah. Content 8.
I put 8 for content.
Okay. All right, and intangibles, I gave him a 10.
Mm-hmm.
Hook game, I gave him a 10.
Mm-hmm.
Versatility 8.
I'm with that. Okay.
He had a high score. I got 146, but I think that's going to come down because there's a couple things I need to adjust on my common score too. So,
okay.
Lil Kim, Queen Bee, best take heed. Lyrics, I said 12.
Said 13.
I took off 12. I took 12 because her dopest album was, a lot of it was questionable pen. And I say questionable pen because I don't know.
I kept her at 13 because her best lyrical mic performance were after he passed. Some of her best lyrical performances were after he passed. Hey, how about this, Mike? And here's what I'm about to tell you. She is not a top 10 MC all time, But as far as scene stealing verses, she is. You're going to be hard pressed to find a male MC not named Biggie, Jay-Z, or Nas with more scene stealing guest appearance verses than Lil' Kim. And I don't. When I mean scene stealing, I mean the bars are there.
Oh yeah, no.
Not just the charisma and the personality, the bars and the flow and the delivery are there.
Does she have the best verse on Benjamin's?
Until Biggie came in.
Well,
I would, but
I technically think Biggie's verse is better. Fuck a state pen, fuck hoes in Penn State. Yeah, that's some other shit.
Yeah, some other shit.
Listen, closest Francis, the praying mantis, and all that stuff. But I still think she had the scene stealing verse.
How about this? He has the better verse. That's her show. That's her show. He's icing on the cake.
Skills, Cristal spills, high bills in Brazil. Yeah, he killed that shit, man.
Yeah, that's what I mean, though. It's like her scene stealing performances, though. They're not just scene stealing. The bars are there. Do you know how hard it is to be a scene stealer as a woman and the bars be there in this culture?
Jay Short says Lil' Kim is 12 on lyrics. She dipped after Big died. I think she kind of stayed afloat lyrically after Big died. Now, obviously, Hardcore is her best album. But again, I don't think that
that's beat selection. What he aided her probably most with was beat selection.
Her Quiet Storm versus after Big is passed.
Right.
Yeah. I got to give her that. Not to mention the Notorious K.I.M. was quality album.
Yeah, that's her best lyrical performance on the album.
You can tell she had gotten better.
Yeah. Dressed in all black like the Omen.
All right. Voice, I gave her a 9.
I gave her a 9 for voice, too.
Delivery, 10, because I think that's one of her strongest.
Delivery is crazy. It's a
10. Storytelling, I gave her a 7.
I did, but that's only because you don't have enough evidence. Here's what I mean about the MC, Aunt Dot.
Yeah, I figured you were going to mention that.
Hey, remember that record? Remember she did a record with Timbaland?
Which one?
She's telling a story on there. Lil Caesar's on it on the third verse at the end.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. What's the name of that song? Somebody in the chat, let us know.
Right, that's a story.
M. Land says Aunt Dot was fire. Yes, it was. I remember that from Notorious K.I.M.
Yeah. That song with Timbaland and Lil C's was fire too. She got some storytelling skills, just not a lot of them. Hold On with Mary J. Blige, that's a story.
Catalog of albums, I gave her a 13.
So did I.
Okay. Collaborations is a 10.
It's a 10. She on 10 when she gotta go get in there. She a 10. She be on 10. She do.
If I told you once, I told you twice. You be.
That's what I mean. She's got so many legendary performances when she collabs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Longevity of records, I gave that a 10.
That's
Her
a 10.
records have lasted a long time.
Yeah.
Longevity of career, I gave that a 9.
I gave that a 10. She's still here.
Yeah, but not in this capacity. If you heard the last couple of albums, it's like she's like doing some auto-tune stuff. And, I mean, she's technically still here, but no. Like, what's the last Kim rap album?
Okay. That's fair. No. I'll go down. We'll go 9. That's fair.
Okay. All right. Rigger Ross says, so now Kim ain't bury Nicki on Black Friday? You know, I haven't listened to Black Friday in a minute. I'll have to go back and listen.
Yeah, let's check that again.
Longevity of career, okay, 9. Songwriting skills. I didn't rate this again. This was competitive error for me that I was rating. I didn't change the rating. This is the thing, man. Some of her strongest songs, we don't know if she wrote them. So I'm talking about songs. What are her most notable songs? First of all, what did you give her on songwriting skills before I go on a tangent?
Gave her a 9. I only took 1 point off because of the questionable things. Because her records say 10.
What are her best individual songs?
Like her
show her songwriting skills.
I mean, No Time.
No Time, that's Biggie.
No Time is Biggie. Queen Bitch.
That's Biggie.
Yeah. Let me see. Those are my 2 favorite records on Hardcore.
Yeah.
And that's her seminal problem. I mean,
Crush on You. I
That's
mean,
what I mean. Is that technically a Junior Mafia song, or was that her record? Was that a Junior Mafia record? Because to be
right.
honest with you,
I
I
don't know
love
if
her.
that shows your songwriting skills.
See, I love her on Junior Mafia's album, Mike. Like
Oh
much
yeah,
of
yeah,
that,
yeah, yeah.
right? That's what I'm saying. All that stuff is fire to me. The first, the Get Money shit, Players Anthem, I Need You Tonight.
Now I will say this: I think "Lighters Up" is a
Land Junior
tribute to
Mafia.
her songwriting skills.
Okay, the Jump Off. No matter what people say. See, that's the thing. Her songwriting
Okay.
skills is more in her album material than her singles too. That's what I mean. It's just like that's why I bring like that Hold On with Mary J. Blige.
People said "Drugs," not tonight.
Drugs
Came
Tonight.
back for you. I like "Came Back for You." I forgot about that.
Ooh, remember We Don't Need It on the Sunset Park soundtrack?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what I mean. It's just like, no, she done did so much stuff, dude. Like,
I see someone
we
saying
say
songwriting a 7.
we're not doing that to her. She done write too many great. I give her an 8.
I say 8.
Yeah.
Yeah. Shout
7
out to
song.
Blue Collar Hustler in the building again. He said Common's voice deserves a 10. Well, people say I sound like Common, so he said, great. His voice is utilized in commercials, documentaries, and other artists' albums. See Kid Cudi's album. Yeah, I mean, his voice is. What do we give Common's voice?
Where Cudi from?
Cleveland.
So he's close to Chicago. Okay, influenced by Ray.
All right, we did give Common's voice an 8. I'm talking more rap voice though, and I think it's just the things that you're able to do with your voice. I think also when it comes to when you see people's hook output, it kind of gives you a little bit about their voice too. And if they're not doing a lot of hooks, they might not have a strong rap voice. Now, it's not like Common has a bad voice, but he doesn't have a strong, domineering rap voice, if that makes any sense.
He has a dope rap voice, Mike. It's not like a great, all-time great rap voice. He has a dope rap voice. He got an 8.
Jay Short says, it's hard to judge her songwriting because it's from a perspective we haven't heard before. I mean, that's true.
That too is true.
That is true.
Like when she's talking like how many licks, talking about making a spray can't disappear in her mouth. It's like, how is a guy do you contextualize the writing ability of that?
Right.
No, I'm being honest,
No, that's real. Legacy 10.
Yeah.
Live performance 8.
Where'd I give her a live performance? I gave her a 9, but I'm cool with
I'm
8.
fine with the 9 though, because I remember her going out there at Apollo, you know what I'm saying, dressed great. And even with the Junior Mafia performances, when she would come out there, all the ladies would get up.
Yeah, she gets busy.
She was the energy.
Yeah, she gets busy.
Man, let me get rid of this spam again, man. The trolling is crazy with the spam. Why y'all got to do this to our lives, man?
You don't want to see us win.
This is because of the luncheon comments, I know, man.
All the disrespect and shade we've been throwing for 2 years.
Okay. Let's see. Content. I think that's where I gave her an 8.
The content is the hardest one to rate to me. Because how do you rate what she's talking about from a man's perspective? You really don't understand totally.
Who wants to be a mod in the room? Because somebody said we need some moderators. I can make somebody a moderator right now.
As long as it's not Leroy, we can't trust Leroy.
So what were you saying?
No, I'm just saying this was one of the more tougher ones to rate because it's like, how do you rate the subject matter from a perspective that you don't totally understand? So I gave her a 7.
Okay.
But I'm cool with the 8 though.
All right. Intangibles 10.
Yep.
Hook game, I gave her a 9.
So did I.
Okay. Versatility 8.
Really?
Yeah. What did you do with versatility?
Thought her versatility was a 10.
Explain.
Well, how many female rappers do you know that's gonna go smash the Quiet Storm remix? You know what I mean? Like,
that's right.
I think people forget who she was in rap before she did that remix. She was our little played up Barbie doll. That was a thing when she did that. It was Kim getting grimy. Like Kim had gotten pretty dolled up and glammed up. She hadn't did no gritty shit really.
You know what? You're right. You're right.
Right.
You're right. You're right. Her
Yeah, goddamn.
versatility is a 10 because
Yeah.
she could dress it up and dress and the things that and we had this conversation offline or whatnot. And yeah, I made Terminator 2 a mod, and I also made what's my man's name? Hold on 1 second, y'all. I just want to make sure I get the right mods here. Oh yeah, the real Leonard Washington. I made you a mod as well. So yeah, block these brunch, lunch, and spams. But anyway, I was offline and we were talking about Nicki Minaj and the fact that Nicki made that choice to make more pop records than hip hop records, and she wasn't balancing that in the way that Kim was able to seamlessly balance that with her versatility, you know. And yeah, you're right. We got to give Kim credit for that because I remember when Kim came out there on that. You remember that song Biggie that was on Born Again?
Yeah, Biggie.
Yo, man, when she came out there on that video, man, that shit was hard.
Right.
Hard. And she was able to do that and then still do the Barbie stuff and then do the merengue stuff with the no matter what people say type thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got more spam, guys. Come on, moderators. Block these folks, man. Go for it.
So, yeah.
So okay, I'm cool with that. I'm cool with getting the versatility of 10. I guess I'm going to have to rework some of these totals and see what that looks like. But yeah, I think Kim came away with a pretty good score. Now, this was the one. This was the big one for me, man. This Tupac rating, man, that was so difficult for me because...
Hey, I almost feel like we should do his last.
Well, Ice Cube's after that. So, I mean, both of them were...
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, it's him and then Cube. So, I just want to speak to this first off because the first part of the rating system is lyrics. And we're probably going to have a whole segment on this alone. I say Tupac's lyrics are 15. I say Tupac's lyrics are 15.
He's my guy, but it's a 14, and it's a 14, and that's at the max. It's just not. It's literally.
Explain your 14, and I'll explain my 15 when it comes to Tupac's lyrics.
Okay, so we measured the bar as the first 3 songs on "Follow the Leader" by Rakim, right?
Yes.
If we're using that as the measuring stick, it's actually not even a 14; it's the 13. If we're using that as the barometer. But where he wins, and this is what we're about to get into, well, he does everything else. And I mean everything else exceptionally well at the highest level. And so it makes that lyrical content and the gravity of it greater than what it actually is on a lyrical level. It's everything else. It's just like when you're in a relationship, Mike, and you know this because you're in one, you can love somebody, Mike, but if you don't have like trust, respect, communication, understanding, you're going to have a failure in love. And so what he has lyrically that makes him strong isn't actually the lyrics. It's everything around the lyrics. Literally everything. It's the voice. It's the delivery. It's the content. It's the intangibles. It's the hooks. It's the performance. It's the songwriting skills. It's the legacy. It's the records. It's everything else. This is the weakest part of his game, but it's the only weak part of its game, and it's not weak.
All right. I say 15 because I'm looking at the lyrics for what they are, like words on the page, right? This is somebody who whole college courses have been taught about when it pertains to his lyrics, not to his voice, not to his albums even. This man is he writes poetry, or wrote poetry, rest in peace. He has books of poems out there. He's a lyricist to that degree. I've heard him talk about his songwriting perspective and how he puts lyrics together, and he cites people like Marvin Gaye, and I see it because he's able to make people feel things.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think that the problem that we're having here is kind of back to what Brandon's top five was, right? We're looking at lyrics in that scale based on lyricists like a Nas, Black Thought, Lupe, and people of that ilk, right? Who use incredible, word placement, double
Mm-hmm.
entendres, themes, and just vocabulary that we normally don't get. And with Pac, he's not gonna spit a verse like I was trying to quote last week when I was quoting Elzai's verse, right? You're not gonna
Right.
get one of those things.
See, but this is what.
But the lyrics on the page do things that are more impressive to most than no matter what words you could put together. Black Jesus says Pac was basic. I know. He used basic terminology, but he used them in a way that others just didn't.
Well, this is what I'm trying to say, Mike. Part of why the reason that the words resonate and hit you so hard, and they even, and this is the thing about him, and listen to what I'm about to say. He is so special, Mike, that if you heard him say the word once, well, it's in your head him saying it forever. So even these words being recited, like in these discourses of these courses in these colleges, it's his voice is ringing in your head. The impact of it is ringing in your head. It's still a part of all of it. He's attached to the words forever too. Like even when you read his poetry, Mike, tell me you don't hear his voice.
Yeah, I mean, no, I hear you. And Nas the Goat has a super chat. He says, "So the way y'all are describing Pac, y'all have him better than Nas." Shaking my head. He is so overrated.
First of all,
I mean, he scored higher than Nas when I went through it. Now, okay, I understand where everybody's coming from.
Godson get across the belly. How Godson get across the belly, Mike?
Right. Listen,
Right.
I understand where everybody's saying him not being a 15 on lyrics if the bar is like you said, follow the leader, Nas, a Black Thought, just lyrically. I'm with that, but I think that he's such a special case that he can say more in 4 bars than MC could do in a whole 64 bar run. Like
Okay,
he mastered being able to say more with less more than any hip hop artist we can ever think of.
he's the greatest ever at that. Nobody has ever said more with less than he has. Here's what I'll submit to you. So let's go to some live examples and some footage. Let's go to some real-time footage.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go to Method Man and Redman's verse on Got My Mind Made Up.
Right.
But let's go to Pac's verse first, okay? So Pac is on that verse, and this is what I mean about everything. Like what you're talking about. Pac
That's when he was doing that lyrical didexity stuff on that song, by the way.
No, he is, but what I'm telling you is that still doesn't match what Meth and Red did.
No, you're right.
Because what I'm trying to say is that the Tupac that you're talking about on 15, Mike, is when his lyrics are coupled with his voice and the content and subject matter that touches you, that highlights those words.
I got my mind on my money, money on my mind, finger on the trigger, nigga, hand on my nine. That's more flow, delivery, voice.
Right. But what I'm saying is that his subject matter is what you're really talking about when he is hitting you and making you feel. It's not lyrically where he's taking you. It's that the subject matter and the content is so strong. Vocally, he is so great. And he is a brilliant writer. He knows how to connect and land. So he knows what to say to how to get you. But what I'm saying is that when that content and subject matter is not in play on 10, as in on Dear Mama, Keep Your Head Up level, he's not a superior MC. And
I think that's fair.
And that's why I bring Got My Mind Made Up, because that's what I call like regular Pac just rapping. And he's not like all-time great when he does that. 2 years ago, a friend of mine told me Alizé and Cristal blows your mind. Bear witness to the dopest fucking rhyme I wrote. Taking off my coat, clearing my throat. That's not great, Mike. So when his subject matter is not there, he's not lyrically. And so here's where Method Man comes in. because he's a lyricist of the highest order. Fuck you losers. While you fake jacks, I make maneuvers. You see how the wordplay and everything is just immediately different and on another level?
Yeah.
Immediately. Yeah. So he's not a 15, and it's because of that right there. When he's on so many tiers level, yeah, he's a 15.
Shout out to Ryan Gillum for the super chat. He says, Pac's voice made you feel those basic words.
Yep. It's the voice and the subject matter. He's a great writer. And he's a doper lyricist, and he gets credit for, but he's not a 15.
Okay. I think you made a really great case for that. You went 14?
Yeah, I went 14.
All right. Voice, 10.
Yep.
Delivery, 10. Storytelling, 10. Catalog of album, I went 14.
So did I.
Okay.
He got the 2 lowest scores on the 2 toughest criteria, but everything else might.
Collaborations, 10. You got 10 there too? Okay. People can't see you. They just see the scoreboard right now.
That's cool.
Okay. I'm just letting them know that you're doing 10 too. Longevity of records, 10.
15.
Yeah, longevity of career, 10.
10.
Songwriting skills, 10.
They're throwing up holograms of this dude still. 10.
Wow. Legacy, 10.
Mike, this is no lie. In Legacy, I put 50-11, like 50-11 times. Like, been to the club like 50-11 times. That's what I put the Legacy.
Yeah, he has the biggest legacy of everyone.
Yeah, he's our logo.
Yeah, he's the logo for Legacy. Live performance, 10.
10. Yes, he's a great live performer.
Content, 10.
Yeah.
Goodness.
I mean, I don't even think it's a question about some of this stuff. It's like it's not even questioning. It's not even a question if these things are 10s.
Intangibles, 10.
He's the only guy in the all-time great rapper conversation that's not an all-time great lyricist. Yes, 10.
All right, we got people in the chat that are questioning collaboration 10.
That's that. Okay, we can question that.
What do you have to say about that?
No. I want the people. I want the people to do it because.
I mean, what are some of your favorite pop collaborations? I mean, MC Breed comes to mind off top.
Comes to mind.
What's that?
Smile.
Iconic.
Yeah. Can I interest you in Same Song from Digital Underground?
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
You got some more?
Can I interest you in Homies and Thugs?
Okay.
Yeah. Everything that he did when he collaborated was like a home run. If you want to take it down and say that it's not enough, we can take it down to a 9 or 8. Everything he did was pretty stand out when he did do a collaboration. He just didn't do a lot of them.
Okay. I think that'd be fair to kind of take it down because he didn't do a whole bunch.
Okay. I'm cool with that.
8 or 9?
We can go 8.
Okay.
What other questions?
All right. We got Hook Game. I went 9 for the reasons that I said in the previous show.
We can go 9 for Hook Game if y'all want to. I still think that's a 10. No, matter of fact, no. I'm sorry. No, I'm not. No, we're not. He wrote Ambitions as a writer in Hail Mary. He wrote How Do You Want It too. How much more versatility do you want from a hook writer? Ambitions as a writer and How Do You Want It on the same side of one disc. He wrote both of those hooks. Like, what are we talking about? Y'all understand he wrote Hail Mary, right? Me and My Girlfriend, Crazy.
Me and My Girlfriend's a good one.
Yeah. Against All Odds.
Hit 'em Up, right?
Hit 'em Up. Even though I don't personally like Hit 'em Up. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
You don't like Hit 'em Up?
No, I don't.
I never was a big Hit 'em Up fan either. I mean, I don't think it's the diss record that people, crown it to be. I don't dislike the record, I'll put it that way, but I never thought it was like No Vaseline or anything.
Remember when I told you, like, he's our logo because he's our good bag and our ugly? That's the ugly for me.
Yeah.
And I don't want to remember him that way. And neither should other people who really love him or say that they did. That's not how I want to remember him.
Versatility 10.
It's not even conversation.
Yeah, I think he's one of the most versatile hip-hop artists we've ever had.
He actually made the versatility a thing. Like,
he did make the versatility a thing.
Yeah.
Him and Biggie, but, a lot of people could say that, Biggie kind of adopted that from him.
Yeah.
I'm
saying it.
Yeah, Pac would say that. Collaborations went down to a 9.
No, I went down to 8 on collab.
8. I'm sorry, not 9. 8. You went 10 on hook game.
We can go 9 just because, much like we talked about, I guess he didn't do a lot of hooks early on, but when he did do them, they were 10. So if you want to dock him for not doing it early on, we can do that and make it a 9.
Because I did that for Ice Cube too.
Right, and that's fair.
Yeah. All right. Let's get to Cube, man, and then we'll kind of, talk about this whole thing, right?
Right.
Cube.
We got light too. We got to do light. Hold on. No, Cube's the last one. Is Cube the last one?
Yeah, for today. I mean, we're like 2.5 hours in already.
Right. Yeah. We're done.
Cube lyrics. You know what? Since you've convinced me, I had 15 originally. I can go to 14.
Yep, I have him at a 14 too.
Voice 10.
Yep.
Yay. Delivery 10.
I'm gonna squab with you. I got it at an 8. I don't think
you don't like Cube's delivery. I think Cube's delivery is one of the strongest parts of his game. Like his delivery on Hello.
Okay,
while you
so
sitting
how about
there,
this is what I
your
mean.
bitch is hyperventilating, hoping that we.
Oh, hold on. So this is what I mean about his delivery. The dude that actually made all the classic stuff, I don't think his delivery is a 10. The guy that was making the solid stuff later on, like on Hello and We Be Clubbing and Pushing Weight, that guy's delivery is a 10.
I got lyrics to put. I don't know, man. I liked all of his. You didn't like his delivery on True to the Game?
What year is that?
That's 92. That's Death Certificate. He's flawless on Death Certificate.
Can we meet me in the middle at 9? Because I just don't. Because how about this? When you're saying his delivery is a 10, and you're saying that it's where Method Man and Big and Pac are.
He stands out. Like even when he got with Lil Jon, and we get on those records, it's like.
But that's the new guy. See, that's the guy who
his delivery cuts through. Well, you don't think he stood out on Burn Hollywood Burn?
Oh yeah.
He stands out. Like his shit cuts through.
I'll give you the 10, even though I don't personally totally agree. But I see what you're saying, so I can say 10 on that. I still feel like it's closer to an 8 or a 9, but okay.
Because even straight out of Compton, right? Like his and we can attribute Eazy-E's delivery to him too.
I'm gonna give you the 10 for that. There you go. Now you got me. You got me with that. You're right.
Nas the GOAT says DMX should have the same score as Pac. DMX was Pac 2.0. He was more raw, gritty, and real. I don't think that DMX is a great storyteller.
Mm-hmm.
So I will say this. They do excel in a lot of the same shit. When I'm sitting here looking at the chart, I got the chart up.
Right.
When we talk about lyrics or whatever, boom, voice.
What you're finding out about both of them is that they're as well-rounded as they come.
No, this is true. And honestly, I would say that DMX showed more flashes in his hook game earlier than Pac did, but that's more so dealing with the times. Yeah.
But here's the thing. Go put it. Pac's 5 best hooks against DMX's 5 best hooks. Which is Pac.
I think that they both are really content heavy. But one thing with Pac, what's
DMX's best hook? Does he have a hook better than Ambition's Ever Rider or Hail Mary?
I would say Rough Riders Anthem rivals that to a degree.
It's not Hail Mary.
Stop Being Greedy's crazy too. What about Slippin'?
That's not. I won't deny you. I'm a street rider.
I would put Rough Riders Anthem against that.
Got the police fussing at me, but they can't do nothing to achieve. No, I'm sorry, Mike. Because here's the thing about it: that shit is really happening. Right?
No.
No.
Right. Okay. Let's see. Cube.
Even the Hail Mary thing. That's a true story about him riding through L.A. with a Black Panther one day. That's a real story. That's real. It's real.
Got to give him that. Okay. So delivery, I went 10. Storytelling, I went 10.
So did I. He's one of our best storytellers.
He is. Catalog of albums, I went 15.
14. We can't do that.
Okay. No. For similar reasons that Common went down,
Yep.
I would go 14. That's fine.
Because that War and Peace wasn't that fire. It had some stuff on there, but it wasn't that fire overall.
It just celebrated the anniversary too.
But you want to know he does deserve credit for, and this is a great album people never talk about anymore. West Side Connection.
I was gonna say, Bow Down and Straight Outta Compton factored in me giving him a 15. Honestly,
you want to know what? Hold on. What's his whack album? Is it War and Peace? Is that the only whack project, really? Because I don't think it's whack. I just don't, it's obviously.
Yeah, it's not at that level. Yeah.
You want to know what? When I thought about West Side Connection and the NWA stuff, I'm like, you're right on the 15.
Yeah.
Because if War and Peace is the only glitch on your radar, and I'm looking at your other stuff, yeah.
Niggas don't have a Straight Outta Compton.
Or an America's Most.
America's Most, a Kill at Will,
Predator,
a Death Certificate, a Predator, a Bow Down.
Yeah, West Side Connection, Bow Down. Yeah.
West Side Connection's second album was dope too.
It was solid.
Yeah.
The beats on the West Side Connection album, it was just dope. Like, they was in a zone. They was in a nice little zone.
Shout out to AKs and Curtains with the super chat. He says, since we're not gonna get it officially, y'all got to do Scarface versus Ice Cube versus. We could do that mock versus. I'm taking Cube and you can take Face.
Yeah, I already knew you.
I'm a Cube fan.
Right.
Okay, so 15 for albums. I gave him a 9 on collaborations.
Me too.
Longevity of records, I went 10.
Yep.
Longevity of career, I went 10.
Yep.
Songwriting skills, I say 10, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Legacy, 10.
Yes, sir. Yes,
live performance, I went 9.
I went. Hold on. Live.
Moderators, we got some more spam in here. We appreciate you for taking that out.
I gave him 8 for live performance.
I guess I remember Up in Smoke, right? And
right.
I mean, he's still touring very heavily now too, but I remember Up in Smoke, and when he would go out and do Hello, and then Dub C comes out there, C walking. I'm okay with if you want to go 8. Why are you going 8 specifically?
Because he's never been known notably for his performances.
That's true.
Like, nobody's been like, oh, I went to Ice Cube show, and
especially for the big time records he has.
Right, and he's got a lot of big time records. Right. So.
Content, I went 10.
I went 9 on Content, just about the latter stage again.
Really?
Yeah, he dumbed down some of his content on the back end.
I guess that's fair to listen to the whole scope of it all, man. But he, in his prime, in my personal opinion, he was the conscious of NWA.
We can go 10. I'm being nitpicky, maybe. I'm not above it.
Yeah. I mean, and the content of stuff like America's Most.
Because you want to know what? When I think about it, it's like, well, listen what I'm about to say. Him and Scarface and Tupac, very similar rhetoric.
Yep. Set Good Production says everything Pac did, Cube did first.
So just said Pac, Scarface, and Cube, very similar rhetoric.
I think Cube, and this goes into the intangibles argument, Cube did much better interviews than everybody in his class. He was like a more polished version of Pac. Like, Pac kind of reminded me of Kanye in a sense where you got it in the songs, but when you sat down with him, it sounded scattered sometimes. You know what I mean? But Cube was calculated. Like, when in his interviews, when he was like in his early 20s, he was hella impressive.
Right. So here's the thing. I think Pac more visionary, Ice Cube more organized about the vision, though.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Definitely. Okay. So intangibles, I get 10.
Yeah, that's
Hook game, I got 7. It's the lowest grade I gave.
The lowest grade I gave was 7 because then I was thinking about, like, man, Cube ain't really never did no hooks like that.
And versatility, 9.
I gave him an 8 for versatility.
Really?
Not super versatile, Mike. Not super versatile.
His style didn't change too much.
Yeah, he's not super versatile.
Some of these scores I added everything up, and I know some of these changed, but just based on what I had here, Pac has a 158, Cube 153.
Mm-hmm.
Prodigy was at a 146. Common was at a 143, and obviously that's gonna change. And Kim was at a 142. I'm trying to think, man. Like DMX ended up with a 149. Pac by far, based on what I was able to rate him, and like I said, we're gonna go back and check all that. 158. The closest to him was Nas with 153. And Nas and Cube ended up with the same score. I don't think Nas would be mad having the same score as Cube. But again, I got to do the songwriting thing.
Yeah, we got to do the songwriting and sing some stuff. But I mean, the way that it's looking for these first 25, your pace setters appear to be Nas, Jay-Z, DMX, Tupac.
Yeah.
KRS-One.
The part that I'm upset about is the fact that Rakim ended up getting such, not such a great score, man. Like, and I don't know if it's just based on the categories. I'm trying to find the super chat from Jay Short real quick.
Well, here's the thing: is that yeah, Mike. It's just that there's stuff.
It's just how it falls.
Right. It's just how it falls. It's like, okay, so like his songwriting skills, would his songwriting skills be a 10? Yeah, probably. But is that going to be enough to what did Rakim score?
Oh, let me go back up to. I do want to get this super chat in real quick from Jay Short. For whatever reason, it keeps skipping you, Jay Short. We're gonna get to you. I don't know if it's all this damn spam. You guys, come on, moderators, get on it. Okay, Rakim got 143.
We're gonna have to look at that.
Yeah, we're gonna have to look at that.
And is that before? And is that score still there from before we changed the scale on lyrics and albums too? Did you change the point totals when you did that?
I'm gonna go back and check that out just to make sure. Jay Short says them folks thought his content was a 10. Yeah, I mean, man, I don't know, man. Is Pac that much better than everybody else when it comes down to these individual criteria? Do y'all think that we overrated Pac? Because when somebody was talking about how high DMX rating was, it's similar to Pac's makeup. And maybe Pac is just the MC that is totally fit for these categories. If these are all the categories that make up a great MC, maybe Pac is the greatest. Because one thing that won't be argued and can't be argued is how big his legacy is.
Well, here's the thing, too, and you have to understand this. And there are legions of people that feel like Nas is the greatest MC of all time, and there are legions of people that feel that way about Big. Well, this is the guy that they were most inspired by, and it shows in so many ways. So it's like, I have no problem with him being number one on this list, and people that do need to keep that in mind. Big's formula for making records? Oh, that's Pac. Nas's favorite MC? Pac.
Okay. I think all of those are it's valid, man. And I think when we go by all of these categories, Donnell Lee says Pac is rated fairly. Yeah, I mean, when I was going through it, I'm like, yeah. It was like,
what you gonna do?
I mean, the only thing, again, if somebody want to talk about longevity of career, we could say, his career was 1990 to 96. But when I was talking to my guy, Brandon, I was like, I gave him I think initially I gave him like an 8 or something on that because of how short his career was. But he was like, I mean, this man's legacy in name lives on. You got Jussie Smollett out here in 2022 calling himself the gay Tupac. I mean, you got how many songs do we have where they say Tupac's back? It's like he never died. Not to mention that we always hear new music. Shit. So longevity of career, if that's an argument where you want to give him lower than a 10, I get it, but I don't think anybody's career has lasted longer than this because his career seems to outlast people who are living, which is wild.
I mean, even if you were to dock him points for that, Mike, he's still 5 points up on Nas and X.
Yeah, we're gonna go back and look at all of this. We promise, and revisit everything on Friday when we go rate the other 5 MCs that we were gonna rate today. We just had like such a heavy show, we just couldn't do it. Friday we got some new music. You excited about the new Mulatto album?
Yeah, I want to hear what you're working with. I want to hear what you're doing.
I'm excited about that and the I Know Nico album. And see, we thought that, well, I thought initially it was a Pusha T album, and I guess we're not going to get that this week, but we're going to get that pretty soon. But here are some of the songs that's on it, right? We got Lost and Found Freestyle with A$AP Rocky and Tyler, the Creator. That's from like 2019. That shit was dope, actually. You remember that?
I do.
Yeah, so that's on there. Hear Me Clearly from Pusha T's on there. That's hard. And so we got an A$AP Rocky song that's on there. We got a Clip song called Punch Bowl.
Oh.
We got a Functional Addict, which is Pharrell and Gunna. That should be interesting. Got a Kid Cudi song called I Want It Bad. More Tonight with the Teriyaki Boys. Paper Planes with Pharrell and A$AP Ferg. Obviously, Hear Me Clearly, Pusha T. Remember, that's Pop Smoke. Heavy, that's Lil Uzi Vert. And Come On, Let's Go, that's Tyler, the Creator. So that should be an interesting project.
No, Mike.
Yeah.
I'm doing the tallies. Pac got a 155.
Okay,
So,
cool. Because some of my points were off. So
I was thinking about that too. I'm like, he's 5 points ahead of Nas, though. I'm like, hold on, let me tally.
okay.
Right. So he's 155. So that would literally put him 2 points ahead of Nas.
Miss LB says one of Pac's boys said in the interview that Nas was his favorite rapper, Pac's favorite rapper. I can see that, and vice versa.
They listen to each other. I can hear that. Like, I can remember they was telling a story about how when Pac had heard Street Dreams, and that like inspired him when he was making All Eyes on Me, because they both had that same track around the same time, and he was listening to how nigga Nas was spitting. He's like, and that's the thing with Pac. Pac knew he couldn't beat Nas at spitting, so he's like, I got to make something hard.
I think they're both poets, so I mean, I could see how they would both kind of gravitate to each other's style. Mm-hmm. And there were things that Pac could do with his voice that Nas couldn't do with his voice that I'm sure he appreciated as well.
Right. And there are some things lyrically that Nas could do that Pac couldn't do that I'm sure he appreciated.
Yeah,
you know?
Definitely.
Like when he's like rapping on that beat, he's talking about 2 sips from being alcoholic, 999,000 from being rich, but now I'm all for it. Like Pac can't do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Nas is amazing, man.
Yeah.
Amazing. Greatest rapper of all time.
Greatest rapper of all time. But according to these scales, it's Tupac.
According to the scales, it's Tupac. But what Nas is doing right now is phenomenal. But, all right, Mulatto's dropping Friday as well. 777 is going to be the album's features are going to be 21 Savage. She has a song called Sunshine with Lil Wayne and Childish Gambino. That should be interesting.
Yeah, that's interesting.
She got a record with Lil Durk. Also Nardo Wick, Kodak Black, and 13 tracks on here, man. I think that it's interesting. Maybe we talked about this on the show a long time ago. I think I asked you, kind of a trick question. I'm like, who's the greatest female MC to ever come out of Atlanta? And I hate to marginalize any, group, but it just kind of shows you not a lot of female MCs came out of Atlanta. Can't really name too many, and Mulatto is it.
I told you Left Eye, and you were like, she's not from here.
No, Left Eye from Philly. We're not gonna take that away from Philly. Philly birthed some dope female MCs, and so does Jersey.
I told you, as far as lyricists go, you're gonna be hard pressed to beat Philly outside of New York.
I think Jersey got the best female MCs. Latifah, Lauren, Rod Digger. Game over.
Good night. Don't they got Jean Grey too? Ain't Jean Grey from Jersey too?
I thought she was from South Africa, but if she's repping Jersey too, it's really game over.
It is.
Yeah, because Philly got Eve, Left Eye, Charlie Baltimore. Miss Jade's from Philly, right? Yeah. Miss Jade's Philly. I rock with Miss Jade.
You're right. She from Cape Town.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah,
Or
man,
Bro.
but yeah, Jersey got that, man. Queen Latifah, Lauryn Hill, and Rod Digger.
Yeah. When you said Lauren Latifah, Rod Digger, that was on purpose.
Yeah. So, but yeah, Mulatto is the female MC that comes out of Atlanta. I never really noticed, and maybe that's just me being blindsided by whatever is going on in hip hop in Atlanta. But outside of Rashida, I'm trying to think of the female MC to ever break out of Atlanta like that, and we just haven't had it.
Right. And here's the thing, even with that,
Charles Carter mentioned Rashida. Yes, Rashida, but Rashida was on a high trajectory for a second, but reality television is kind of what she's known for mostly at this point. What were you saying, Coop? My bad.
No, don't worry about it.
Bahamadia is in Philly too. I apologize. I cannot forget Bahamadia. I love her.
Yeah, cool. So I don't know. So that Philly line is pretty tough.
Okay, so what's your Philly lineup? We got Eve, Bahamadia, Miss J, Charlie Baltimore, Left Eye. Damn, they're deep.
They're deep.
That's the thing. Yeah, I mean, because
Jersey. They don't have Lauren or Latifah though, so it's a problem.
I think the Eve is probably the Eve and Bahamadia. Black Jesus says Brooklyn. We got Kim, Foxy, and Light. Okay, I like that lineup too.
Who's taking on Lauren? Who's taking on Lauren?
MC Light.
Know how I feel about Light.
And then I put Kim on Latifah. And then you got Foxy on Digger. I think Brooklyn might win that.
Actually, that's nice. That's nice. I would put Foxy on Lauren. Put the most vicious person on.
Okay, even if we cancel those things out.
Put Foxy on Lauren.
You still got MC Light on Latifah.
Now I'll take that. See, I'll take that. And
then you got Kim on Digger.
Yeah.
That's not fair to Digger.
Okay, Brooklyn got some run. Brooklyn got some
run. I think that's a really good debate. Honestly, I'm gonna keep it a buck. I think Latifah right now is a better rapper than MC Light.
Probably is. Call Ice Cube. Tell him we got a 3-on-3 for him. Jersey BK 3-on-3.
Yeah, Jersey BK. I think that'll be a great little versus or however y'all want to do it. Yeah. But we can't have Kim and Foxy in the same room, unfortunately, I guess. Whatever. That's problematic.
That's very problematic.
All right, and on that note, man, we're going to get up out of here, man. We're going to holler at y'all on Friday. We're going to go ahead and finish these charts, talk some music. Man, are you excited about any getting new music coming out Friday? How much time do you think we're going to spend on that?
I think, when there's not a big artist that's anticipated to be released, I think the amount of time that we spend reflecting on the music has to do with how quality the music is or is not going to be. So
we might get some surprises. I'm interested in seeing.
I mean, this podcast kind of started and took wings on not us, on the greatness of the albums that we covered. We started to take off because of Jay Electronica's A Written Testimony. Mm-hmm. And Freddie Gibbs Alfredo, West Side Gun, Pray for Paris, so it was the quality.
And even as recent as Magic by Nas. I mean, that was a big one for us too, because that, you guys were hitting us up for days and days on end, wondering when we were going to react to Magic.
Right.
And on today's show, Coop said that Magic is a classic. So it's official.
I mean, and here's the thing about it. I mean, Mike, I remember when I rated Pray for Paris, and you were like, what would you get it out of 5? I said, I'm giving that a 5.
Yeah.
I did that the day after I heard Pray for Paris.
Pray for Paris is still a 5.
Easy.
And Magic is still a 5. Remind me, what is currently album of the year? You still got Benny?
Yeah, it's Benny, but I would probably go down to a 4.6 instead of my 4.7. Conway's still at 4.5. Currency not too far behind that. All things considered, those three right there are what come to mind. Gunna's album is still really, really dope too. It's been a good year so far.
I'm going to be honest, man. I'm slightly disappointed that we're not getting Pusha T on Friday. I was looking forward to this. I was looking forward to actually reacting to this album that Pusha T has in the chamber that he's saying is album of the year.
No, it's been 3 years. He's a legend. He's exciting, so you have the right to be disappointed. But it's like we've already waited this long. There There are other MCs, Mike.
There are other MCs, and we've learned that waiting for Kendrick Lamar. I think people have to understand, like, even we just celebrated 2 years of doing this podcast. And ever since we started this podcast, we were waiting for the day that we could respond or react to a new Kendrick album. And we're still waiting. I don't think it's going to happen. So, like you said, I've learned to realize there are other MCs in the game. There's other music to be released and other things to talk about. And on that note,
I'm just looking at my watch. Time keeps on ticking, and it doesn't stop for any man. You know that, right? Keep on ticking. It's funny. The watch keep on ticking. It keep on turning.
I was gonna ask for a Kendrick prediction, but there is no reason. We're not even. It's no.
Okay, so remember I was being kind of shady with Jay Electronica in 2020, and you were like, "So what do you think about that?" And a few months later, I was like, "I think about as much of it as he does," And so it's like people that think that, like, I guess we're hating on Kendrick or like slandering Kendrick. How about we just be quiet and invest as much energy into his career as he is?
Listen, I mean, I'm just gonna keep it real. I'll be excited to hear about a Kendrick release, but I just don't see it coming. So,
I mean, Mike, you called this because here's the thing. I'm in a place where it's like, literally, was I not defending him this time last year when you were saying nothing was coming?
You were.
Like this time last year.
But now people think you're the one being hard on
right,
Kendrick.
They don't understand. A year ago this time I was looking at you, it's like, nah, he's not going to go a whole nother year without doing anything, Mike. You were like, I think so. You're like, I think this guy hasn't made any good material. He doesn't have anything to release. And it's starting to be a problem because he's not making dope material and it's not going to fit his standard of what we're used to from him. And you're looking right. And quite frankly, you looking right and me looking wrong pisses me off. Needs to make that out.
You know what we're about to see when KD3 drops? Because here's my prediction. And this ain't even a tough prediction. This is easy. KD3 is going to drop before a Kendrick album drops.
It is, because you want to know what? When Hit Boy did the retweet, I was thinking to myself, I bet they're sitting in the studio right now.
And if that is the case, we got Lost Tapes 2. We got Lost Tapes 2. We got Nasir. And we got KD 1, 2, 3, and Magic. We got 6 Nas albums since we've gotten Kendrick's last album.
From a guy whose work ethic was questioned. Right.
Yo, and how many albums does Kendrick have? Does he even have 6? This would be his 6th, right?
Right.
And so since we've gotten the last Kendrick album, if they drop KD3, we've gotten 6 Nas albums since the last Kendrick Lamar album. Think about that, people.
I'm at a loss, Mike. I'm at a loss.
And this is, like you said, somebody in the twilights of his career.
Supposedly, Mike. He just...